folks. I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Megan Lipinski.
And you're listening to episode 26 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And Chris is still taking a sabbatical, rip in peace.
He's on hiatus. He's on a one-person hiatus.
You could be on a hiatus by yourself.
I think that's typically how hiatus works, right?
Well, bands go on hiatus.
Yeah.
I just said sabbatical because to me, like, sabbatical, I just picture some, like, grizzled dude with, like, an unkept beard, like, climbing a mountain because he can't take his shitty office job anymore.
I always
think of professors.
I said hiatus because I just picture him, like, literally stopping everything he's doing in life right now. He's just, like, in a plastic, like, toy figurine case, just, like, not moving, just ready to emerge again when that time comes.
He's like a chrysalis. He's
like a John Travolta bubble boy.
Yeah, yes to both of those.
Yes, he's a chrysalis bubble boy.
He's a chrysalis bubble boy.
He's a chrysalis bubble boy. All right, well.
He's becoming a butterfly.
Or a moth.
Well, why'd you gotta say moth with such contempt?
Because they're gross and dusty.
No.
Like, some of them are beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like brown.
No, there's colorful moths. They're just far and few.
All right. Sure, Seth.
And they're called butterflies.
Colorful moths.
I don't know enough about moths to know one way or the other.
No, there's definitely... I know my butterflies and moths. I've been there.
You've been a butterfly and or a moth.
Yeah, well,
I've had your own hiatus.
I've run in the circles, all right? I've run in those circles. I've drank my nectar. I know what I'm talking about.
He's a drink your own. Is drinking your own nectar like smelling your own farts?
Not my own nectar. Gee, oh my god.
Oh, well, I didn't realize there was just like a swap meet for nectar.
Well, of course, man. See, this is why you don't know about butterflies and moths.
I don't know shit. Although one time in second grade we raised a caterpillar and it turned into a chrysalis and then it hatched out as a monarch butterfly and we got to watch it. Like I actually did it in class one day. It was really cool.
Yeah, I raised monarch butterflies in the front butterfly garden in front of my house.
Oh, fancy!
That's so cool.
And got the milkweed for them to lay eggs on, and got all the attractant plants for them to eat. So they come in. They come in and do butterfly stuff. It's really sad because some of them like never make it out of the chrysalis, and the chrysalis just like turns black, and then like this big goopy thing starts dripping out of it.
Oh, they fucked it up.
Yeah, they do. They like start leaking out of their own chrysalis.
Way to metamorphosize, dipshit.
That's sad. Anyway,
I started my job this week.
Cool.
It was just all like training videos, so
also cool.
Yeah, it was all right. Got paid to do that, and then we had Thanksgiving, which is what happens here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And Megan cooked all day.
Nice.
For like 5 hours, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
I made a pumpkin pie to bring to my mom's house, and then I left the pumpkin pie here.
That's great. Because now you have a whole pumpkin pie for yourself.
It's true. I didn't want to eat any last night when I got fucking home from Thanksgiving, but I had like a spoon of it this morning, and it was fucking good. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I didn't bring this.
Megan made pecan pie because I said I wanted pecan pie, and like every step of the way, she's like, "This doesn't look right," and I'm like, "It's supposed to. Listen, it's supposed to look like fucking goo with pecans in its shell. Like that's it. That's pecan pie. It's just glop. Like you did it right. It's fine."
Yeah, the pumpkin pie is like literally water. It's like the consistency of water while you pour it in the thing. I was like, "Oh, this doesn't seem right," but then it cooked. And I was like, "All right, well, it's a pumpkin pie, so
magic."
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking cooking, dude. God, I don't know. It's like metamorphosizing like that butterfly, but you actually did it.
Yeah, the goop turned into stuff.
Right, that dipshit didn't do it right.
He didn't. He could have been a pumpkin pie.
I mean, my pecan pie was a little overcooked. Everything I did was slightly overcooked.
Oh, that was a logistic thing though. They didn't have that was we had a weird timing with like guests coming over and That wasn't you.
And I rolled out puff pastry a little too thin and then cooked it for like too long. So there's
That was
too.
you. That was, you can take
I was like, oh, it's
down.
fine. The timer, it says this long. And no,
Yeah,
that's okay. Nothing was horribly burnt.
Those timers are liars, man. They're like, if like everything's the exact same thickness and level in the oven and everything, then maybe it works. But otherwise, you just got to keep checking it.
Yeah, I was trying to do too many things.
Yeah.
And I decided to make this crazy-ass apple tart where you have to make caramel from scratch, which I had never done before. And so the whole time I was like, is this right? I don't know if this is right. It turned out okay.
The
I
sugar's
really liked
burning
it.
everywhere.
Thankfully, there was no burning, but I was very concerned. But it tastes good, so I guess that's came out okay.
If you fuck up caramel, you just get toffee, right?
I don't know. I assume it just tastes like shit, and then you have to throw it away.
So
But-
toffee.
Yeah, I like toffee
I like
though.
toffee.
All right, well.
I like everything for the most
except
part.
for butterscotch. I was about to
Yeah,
say
butterscotch is bullshit.
No.
But
Oh my!
No, it's not.
Yeah, I hate butterscotch. Cough, cough. No, it's delicious. It's great.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Craig's on my side. Good.
I'm
I
on
thought
your
I was
side, yeah.
outnumbered.
no,
you're not.
No, not like the
Butterscotch is
Necco
big.
wafer conversation of last time.
Yeah, no, I lost that one. I guess.
You did.
I did some. Everyone, I don't know about you, Seth. I don't know what your like game buying like habits are like in terms of like collecting, not just
Right.
buying like new releases, but like I don't buy the way I used to. I just sort of maybe once a year go, well, I'm just gonna spend a shit ton of money and get some stuff off eBay right now because I got to scratch an itch, and so I did that. I bought a bunch of stuff. There's in Japan on 3DS. There's a Puyo Puyo RPG.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know
Yes.
about that.
yeah. I think it's called Puyo Puyo Chronicle, and it has like a limited edition. I don't know how Puyo Puyo RPG gets a limited edition, but it did.
Everybody loves Puyo Puyo so much.
I like the garbage Puyos,
They're crazy about Japan.
but that was in there. I got a copy of Pokemon Snap. It was so fucking minty. It had like the sheet of controller pack stickers still in there.
Ah, see, I've been looking for a condition like that. Well, I was like a few years ago, but then I gave up because like, oh, I'm like, well, this missing this and missing that. When I was doing this search, I found like the fucking Blockbuster kiosk that somebody was selling for only like $200. This sticker printer, they're like, you gotta like pay it or pick it up yourself, but it's $200, and it looked nice. But I was like, fuck,
How far away was it?
far. It wasn't near me.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, well, maybe not now. I'm not in a place to do that now. But if this was like 8 years ago, I would have bought that shit. You laugh, but I would have. I can't afford not to. Are you kidding me? I can print out my own Pokemon stickers. I'm throwing away good money by having someone else do it for me.
all the stickers you definitely would have printed.
Going down to CVS or Walgreens or whatever. and
That
getting
shit
them.
would have gotten purged first.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's
Yeah,
sad.
that's true. But it was fun. I mean, it's a nice little. I mean, I won't lie. It's a nice little like endorphin boost or whatever to do that. But it's nice to kind of like go back and fill in bits of the collection that I actually still collect for.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I got two N64 games, 2 DS games, 2 3DS games, and 2 Game Boy Advance games.
Okay, I haven't done any retro game buying in like a year or two, so I'm kind of sad.
Like I said, I do it like once a year. I don't really. I don't know. It's a young man's game, I guess, and again, a little too old for it, maybe.
Yeah, God, I was spending so much money on like
you
just
and me
rare
both, dude. You and me both. And this is a little bit better. I mean, there's still a little therapeutic component to it that I'm not sure whether it's healthy or not. And I mean that sincerely. It could be healthy. It could be fine. I mean, like, a couple $100. I mean, and that's all it takes to lift your mood. All right, you know,
Yeah, that's
there are worse things you could be doing to yourself. So
I think if it's fine if you do it now and then. Like back then, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I got a boxed, complete, nice, minty copy of Gal's Fighter. I'm like, oh fuck, I just paid so much money for this. What am I doing with my life?
my copy of Gal's Fighter is actually in display in our dining room. Yep.
Which one is that?
That's the pink
that
one.
the
The pink
all
one
the
that looks like a
girls?
game called Gals. Yes, all the girls.
Okay.
Yep, that's all the gals.
It's got good box art.
It does. It's a fun game.
It's a very good game. Apparently it's better than the SNK Heroin one.
Yeah, so I hear.
Anyway, that's me, Seth. How have you been?
I've been all right. I started doing like adult coloring.
Oh yeah.
And not like the sexy kind, not the sexy kind of adult, just the skilled adult. Like my girlfriend started getting into it. She was like buying a bunch of the adult coloring books, and she got a bunch of gel pens and markers and stuff. And one of the times we were together, there was a like 2019 adult coloring calendar. Mm-hmm. So we each bought a copy, and we each bought a set of the same gel pens, and we decided that we're just going to do like a coloring contest for each month that is colorable inside the calendar. And there's a bonus picture as well, like at the back, like a 13th picture. So we're starting with that one for November/December. And it's fun. It's fun coloring these super intricate, stupid things. Because it's really tedious. It's like tedious and you have to concentrate. No, it's like tedious in a good way, though. Like,
I'm sold.
I have coloring books. I don't color that often, but when I do, like, it's very enjoyable.
I take a blank sheet of paper and I draw my own thing and then I color that.
Not all of us are that skilled, so we need somebody else to do the lines.
Seth is actually does draw pretty well.
Yeah, no, I do drawings, but this is fun. It's nice. It's not. It's,
so are these actual images? Or are these just like batshit what was that? Vera Bradley bags or whatever?
No, this one's
shit.
No, this one's animals. So it's like animals with like just trippy ass patterns all throughout them.
You ever see that picture of that guy who like drew pictures of his cat like at different stages of tripping on LSD?
Nope, but I want to.
I think that maybe that was I think that was in my psych book in like college. But like this dude was doing LSD, and like every like 20 minutes he just drew a different picture of his cat, and it just got progressively more batshit. You gotta look it up; it's great.
I just looked up LSD cat, and it's just like normal cats.
I
see it.
Like the final cat is like an RPG boss.
Wow.
It's like the
Louis
first cat
Wayne
is like Kefka on the mini map, and then the final one is like Kefka in the battle screen.
Yeah, my favorite one is like second to last, I think, because it looks like a fire demon cat or something.
It does, yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great.
Does it look like that? Does your coloring book look like that?
It sort of looks more like the fourth stage picture, but a little less intricate. But no, it's sort of like that, yeah.
Right on. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I am sold now.
Yeah, they're fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's been me. I've been coloring because I'm an adult. That's why it's adult coloring, so it's okay. Dude,
life is bullshit. And any like little nook where you can find just a tiny iota of joy, say fucking go for
Seize it.
Yeah, I guess. What about you, Megan?
Well, I haven't been coloring, but now I'm thinking maybe I should. Well, like Craig said, we had feast day here. Mm-hmm. Ate all the food. I didn't eat again until like noon today. I mean, I shoved some like cheese in my mouth before we went to do an errand, but it was good, and the food turned out okay, and it was, a thing. And we got to spend time with my family, most of them, and it was, it was a pretty relaxing day even for cooking, because I actually really love cooking. I just never have the energy to do it after work. And back before I sort of got this job, I worked someplace that was 10 minutes away. So I would get out of work at 2:45 in the afternoon and come home and be home at 3. And so I could spend an hour and a half making some sort of dinner. But now I get home at 5, and there's a lot less interest in actually having to cook something.
Yeah.
So it was nice to actually like play in the kitchen for a while. Other than that, I don't really know that we have any other excitement. Just kind of hanging out, hunkering down. It's gotten real cold here, so I think it's like 20-something degrees outside right now.
Yeah, it's 29 right now.
Yeah, so preparing for the long hibernation.
It was fucking like 13 degrees yesterday.
Yeah. It was great for cooking, but it was cold.
as vegans or vegetarians or whichever, I'm not sure. Remember, I don't.
Vegetarians.
Okay, what's the main dish? What's the main Thanksgiving dish?
This year we had a mushroom Wellington. So it was I have a mandolin, so I mandolin potatoes, and it was puff pastry that I'd rolled out, and it was a layer of the mandolin potatoes, and then a sautéed mushroom and onion and spinach and garlic with thyme, quote unquote meat filling,
right?
That you put over the potatoes, and then another layer of potatoes. Then you wrap it all snug in your puff pastry, and then you bake it. And then
That sounds fucking amazing.
It was.
It was very good.
It was super tasty.
You should hook me up with the recipe, yeah?
I will send. It's a tasty video. I will send it to you.
Okay, thanks. I pus pastry. Pus pastry. That sounds disgusting.
Pus pastry.
Yum.
Fuck, that's next Thanksgiving.
Pop it in your mouth.
Delicious.
No, I got puff pastry in the fridge right now, so I'm halfway there.
I love puff pastry.
Whoa!
No, we're not paying for that, Craig.
Just gonna put some. We have one more.
No algorithm in the world will pick up my tone deaf ass.
Just barely trying to sing our Lord and Savior John Bon Jovi's classic hit.
Although we learned we were playing, what was it? What was it? Fibbage or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So we found out
Fibbage.
John Bon Jovi didn't pay taxes on his house because he classified it as a farm because he had bees. Fuck you, Bon Jovi. Pay your fucking taxes, you rich fuck.
That's such a bullshit. I mean, like,
He might have multiple houses and only one is a farm.
I don't give a shit.
Legit.
Don't you make excuses for him.
I'm just saying.
Beef
I'll find
farming's
excuses
legit.
for everybody.
Don't make excuses for the fucking bourgeoisie.
True. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. Coloring sounds really great, Seth. Do you listen to something while you do it?
No, I'm bad at like multitasking. Now, sometimes I'm talking to my girlfriend while I do it, but then but then she goes, "You're coloring, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yep," because she knows what's going on.
Well, I heard through the grapevine and didn't bother to actually be sure if this is accurate, but it's really good for your brain to like do something with your hands and listen to something at the same time.
Okay.
I don't know who said that or why it is, but that's what I heard, and that's what I tell myself when I multitask.
I'm gonna do that.
My therapist bought me an Overwatch adult coloring book.
We should have color time.
I've used it exactly 0 times.
Well, we should. Well, I have.
And surprise,
a David Bowie
I'm still fucked up. So maybe I should use that color.
You've got colored pencils and stuff, but I've got colored pencils that are less nice.
We've got all kinds of coloring apparatuses.
I got these gel pens, and there's like glitter and metallic and like bright ones, and they're fantastic.
Is it like a jelly roll pen?
I no.
No? Okay. It's like a specific type of gel pen.
No, I don't. This is, they came from like a dollar store in Canada. I don't know what. I think they're called Right Dudes is the brand.
That's so cool.
You spent a whole loony on them?
I think those ones cost a toonie, all right?
All right. We ready to talk about some video games?
I mean, I guess we could talk about loonies and toonies some more if you want.
No. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay. So where are you playing, Craig?
And what am I? What have you been playing, Krug?
I mean, I haven't sat next to you while you did it.
Yeah, you know every single game I've been playing. So, I've been playing a little bit of Dragalia Lost, of course. I don't have much to say about that, other than, I still like it. I'm not playing it as ardently as I once was, but it's a phone game that has kept me coming back for, I think about 2 months now. So, that's not too bad. I like it.
And you've only dropped 4,000 in it now, was it?
I dropped no dollars. Although they're doing this event, so I think I talked about this a little bit, and you understood where I was coming from. But to clarify for any of the listeners who may not understand, is that it has an in-game currency called Warmite, and 150 Warmite you can perform a summon, and there are one of 3 things you can summon. You can summon a new adventurer, a character. You can summon a new dragon, which you equip to the adventurer and you can transform into during battle. Or you can summon a worm print, which is like a collectible card that offers buffs to an adventurer when you equip it. And you can perform a tenfold summon for 1,500 War Might. So there's no discounts. Same amount if you perform 10 individual. But if you save up, do a tenfold summon, you're guaranteed at least one 4-star item. Usually I get more than that. Usually I get more than one 4-star. Usually I get more. But they're doing an event right now where if you do a tenfold summon, it's for the duration of the event. The first period in the event, which is a few days, you're guaranteed a 5-star adventurer, and then the next few days you're guaranteed a 5-star dragon, and the next few days you're guaranteed a 5-star Wormprint. Except you can't do it with the Wormite, the currency you earn in the game. You have to use Diamentium, which is the currency you buy.
Oh.
And and the thing is, they've been, I don't want to say generous with the Wormite, but reasonable, fair, I think, with the Wormite. Mm-hmm. And I guess this is just the point where they go, you're gonna fucking pay for it. Like that's
it's a holiday event. Fork up.
Right.
Your grandma gave you $5.
and the scheme to buy the different plans to buy Diamentium are they're all fucking weird, actually. And I can't really explain them here. Like one of them is like a weekly thing, like or is it a daily thing or a weekly thing? You can only
weekly.
It was weekly, so you can buy X amount for like $4, but you can only buy that amount once a week. But it's cheaper than buying it all at once. So like if you wanted to buy like 1,500 Diamentium, which is how much it takes to do a tenfold summon, it's just like the Wormite. It costs like $32. If you're going to buy it all at once, which is fucking expensive in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or you can piecemeal it out and buy, I think it was like 300 for like $4, but you can't buy it again. You can't keep doing that. You can only do that once a week. So it's cheaper to do it that way, but you're going to have to wait like 5 weeks before you have it all. I don't understand this shit. Like just why can't it? Number one, it's too expensive. But number two, why you only buy so much like in a given week or something? Like, oh, shops sold out, buddy, of this digital currency. I don't know.
Like, yeah, I understand they want to like limit spending, but they should set it at like a dollar amount, not a like purchase number amount.
Right. I mean, they have like beginner packs where it's much cheaper. Like you can get like a beginner pack that's actually pretty reasonable. I've been tempted to buy it, but I haven't, and I think it's like $8. And you get 1,500 Diamentium, and then like a whole mess of like high end like upgrade materials for like your characters and dragons and stuff. And it's a pretty reasonable deal, but it's one of those like welcome packages that you can only buy once.
Right.
So you gotta really want the Diamentium.
I'm not going to talk about Tomb Raider this episode, but Tomb Raider has that whole fucking card system as well, and like I guess it's for the multiplayer and some like single player offshoot modes, but it's like the exact same thing. Like you could buy cards using like points you earn from the single player game, or you could like spend money, and if you spend money, the ones that cost money or cost like a shit ton of points, like you're guaranteed like a certain amount of rares within like your pack of 5 cards or something, and that's just like weird to have in fucking Tomb Raider.
Well, yeah, it is. But the thing is with Dragalia Lost, I mean, the 5-star thing is just an event that's going on right now. Like normally, it's just a regular tenfold summon. Like you spend that $32, you're not guaranteed shit. Like, that's what I don't get. So I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very special.
Yeah, I mean, I would be tempted. Like if I'm enjoying a game, a free to play game. Look, I know it's there just to chew through my money. I get it. But if I'm enjoying myself, I don't mind dropping a few dollars. But I'm not going to spend $32. It's not worth it to do piecemeal summons. Tenfold summons are where it's at, but I'm not going to spend $32 to do that. Like, you want to charge me $5 to do that? I might. 32, that's outrageous. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's the price of a game.
Right. Like a whole nother game. A whole game that's not going to nag me for more money again.
Tomb Raider, whatever.
Although those are becoming few and far in between. I don't know. I also hooked up the 360 and played that a little bit, and
did like just a big puff of dust come out the vent when you turned it on?
It did not. It needed to be updated, but it was so quick. When I needed to update my PS3 to download Metal Gear Solid so I could put it on my Vita, it took like 45 minutes. The 360 was like, boop, I'm done. I did it. I'm updated.
Yeah, the 360 was like always scary. Like games too. Like when you updated a game, like
Yeah.
okay, and then it's like, and then like it was literally like a second, just like rebooted the game, and I was like, oh, I guess that was the update. I don't.
Yeah. I remember I used to say that, and people like on like Twitter or like YouTube would say like, "Oh, it's your connection." I'm like, "Dumbass, they're connected to the same internet." Like, what? That's like,
Yeah, no, because look, I was playing Dragon's Crown a few weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, and I wanted to transfer my save from the PS3 version to the PS4 version that I bought. So I had to like boot up the PS3 to like upload the save to the servers, and the PS3 had an update, and that shit took forever.
yeah. No, the PS3 was slow, but like there were Sony fans that like insisted it was like your connection, like you were doing something wrong, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's not my connection. I mean, I have a shitty connection, but the 360 has no problem with that shitty connection. It's the PS3. That PS3 had a huge problem with updates. I don't know what it was. It was a disaster.
No, yeah, I updated both within the past month, and still the same thing. 360 is way faster.
So the 360 is faster update, but like the actual interface is slow as shit.
It's gotten worse too, I think, as they like shoved more stuff because I haven't played in forever, and it seemed like they did even more crazy stuff with all the menus.
Yeah, well, I think they're still on like the third major version of like the UI. They might have done some nips and tucks, but I think this is still the third one. I don't know why it's sluggish. I mean, maybe it's just doing shit it was never designed to do. I mean, what is that? What does it have? Like 256 like megs of like memory? Like, it's not doing
I
it.
think for the OS, yeah, I think it's like super small for the.
It's got nothing. I mean, it could be. Here's my other complaint with it. It's just full of fucking ads. The home screen is just all ads. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of those, Windows tiles, that Windows aesthetic that they started doing a few years ago. And most of it's ads, actually. Some of them aren't even selling you games. I had ads for, like, Lunchables and shit. Like,
really?
Yes.
Fuck.
And so it's a lot of ads, and I don't know if it's, like, trying to pull the ads. I don't know what it's doing, but it fucking sucks. And that was a big reason why I stopped playing Microsoft systems, because the Xbox One is not very different in that regard. It's slow as shit, and it's got fucking ads everywhere.
I just want to remind people that their November 24th, 2018 podcast is us complaining about Xbox 360 menus.
Well, hold on a second. I'm getting to what I want to talk about. So
okay.
I played a few. I don't really want to talk about the games so much. I played New Vegas. I played Fable 2, which just turned 10, actually. I didn't realize that game was 10 years old, but yeah, it came out in October of 2008. And boy, howdy, does it fucking look it. And then I played a little bit of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. But really, it's like it was just almost like it's weird to say it's nostalgic to go back to the 360, but it kind of, for me, it is. It's just, despite being crammed full of fucking Lunchables ads, I don't know. There's something like warm about the 360 for me. I think I said something to this effect on Twitter, but like the 360 was kind of like the hearth to my home for like a long time, which. I'm not saying to be provocative. I'm not saying that to be. It does sound a little ridiculous, but I mean that's what it was. Like that's. I played a lot of games back then, and I played a lot of them on the 360. I played by myself. I played games to like record for like YouTube or to talk about in the podcast. I played socially, online, and locally. And it's also the system I use to watch DVDs and Netflix. So, to say that it was, the hearth of my home is really not a stretch. And, I don't really think we have a device like that. We don't have anything like that. Maybe the Apple TV. I don't know.
I mean, we don't play games on the Apple TV.
Right. So we don't have anything like that now. So, like, to me, like, there's something like warm, that there is a bit of nostalgia to it because it did have that place in my home at one point. Now it's just slow and has fucking ads everywhere. I don't know. I don't know what they did to my poor 360, but
they get old and shitty.
But it's just so nice playing again. I like that controller. The games are weird. It was so weird. The only thing I'll say about the games, I don't want to really get too far into the games because I got other stuff to talk about. But the games it was almost like, you remember when you went back to like really like dig into PS2 stuff in the 7th generation? You're like, wow, this shit looks like ass. I remember when this looked good. This shit was like, this is basic as hell.
Yep.
A lot of that 360 stuff started doing that to me. And I didn't think I'd feel that way. I'm like, nah, this stuff looked really good. And I'm sitting there playing, and I'm like, why is there so much bloom lighting? Like, everything had so much bloom back then. And I mean, it's still very playable, don't get me wrong, but I was just surprised by, how much it had aged. I just never thought that would have aged as much, but it was exactly like looking back on PS2 games 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I had only just played the Batman game, which wasn't like very taxing in itself, but it wasn't horrible. It was about what I expect, especially for like a Vita port of a game. Right,
yeah. So I played some Diablo 3. Megan and I were playing together for a while there, but she's fallen into a different crowd, so I'll let her talk about. But I started pulling ahead by myself. I'm still not done with like the main story. I'm level, I don't know, like mid-20s, but I'm looking forward to getting done with the main story because I've already played that a couple times over. I hear about, I don't even know what's there beyond the story. I don't know what greater rifts are. I think I've heard something called greater rifts. I think that's a thing. The expansion, Reaper of Souls, I think it's called. I haven't played that. I haven't played any of the seasons content. I haven't played none of that. It's all new to me, so I'm looking forward to getting there, actually. And the game is actually harder by myself.
Sorry.
I'm actually like seeing like my health actually go down.
Oh no!
Because you don't have your barbarian.
I don't have my brute of a wife smacking shit around.
Yeah.
Warframe just came out on the Switch, and I talked about it. I think I talked a little bit about that on the podcast before when I was playing on the PS4. And I'm not much further. I'm about where I was on the PS4 version, so I don't even new to talk about. It's a really interesting game because it's super full featured for a free to play game. Like there's a whole live services game there that you don't have to pay for. Most of what you can pay for is cosmetic. Some of it's actually not. Like I don't know what your actual character looks like. I don't know. I don't know if you look like the little aliens in Independence Day. Because you inhabit these things called warframes, and they're just basically biomechanical suits. Humanoid biomechanical suits. And when you start the game up, you have your choice of one of three. But there's a whole bunch more, and they all have different abilities and different looks, and you can pay for them. It's not pay to win because I wouldn't necessarily say that like you might have an advantage with a nicer Warframe, sure, but you don't need it. So they're not all purely cosmetic. Some of those Warframes, they do have different abilities and stuff. But you can play the whole game without paying any money, and it's big. It has open world areas, it has horde mode areas, it has PvP, PvE. There's just all kinds of shit. And the biggest thing is though it's very confusing. A lot of free to play games, you see this, they're not very good. Number one with onboarding because they just don't really invest in that stuff. There is a tutorial there, but like there's just some of the stuff is just very confusing because they'll automatically put you into like a group because it's online, so it's an always online game. It'll automatically put you in a group, and it takes like 20 button presses to get yourself out of that group. And the methodology is not something that makes sense. The other problem is like organizing stuff. And I guess that kind of plays into like getting yourself out of a group, like how it organizes its information and how it organizes like its levels. Like, when you start the game up, you can look at like the solar system map and look at all the different places you can go, but the game doesn't necessarily let you go there. And it's like, well, don't show it to me. Like, this is just too much information. So I think free-to-play games have trouble with that stuff because they're not in development. They're not necessarily focusing on the onboarding or that kind of stuff. That's stuff you take for granted when you pay $60 for a game, honestly. But other than that, the game plays really well. It's really surprising what's there for a free-to-play game, and it has a very loyal fan base, and I think for that reason.
I don't know what kind of game this is. Is this a shooter?
Yeah, so it's compared. It's often compared to like Destiny, even though it actually predates Destiny. It came out about 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So each Warframe has different abilities, just like different classes in Destiny. You have different guns you can unlock and level up. There are like rifle-y kind of guns. There are like my character has like a rifle, ninja stars, and a sword. So
That's fun.
yeah, there's all sorts of different stuff, and your character is like very fast, very agile. They're very ninja-like characters. So like you can double jump. I think every character can like double jump. If you hold down ZL, so like normally it's aim down sights, but if you're in the air, it becomes glide. So now you can sort of like zoom through the air while also shooting stuff. You can run along walls. So and it controls pretty darn well. Like there are some quibbles. It's not as I think like turning. I think is something that I wish was a bit zippier, but otherwise it controls very well, and it's a lot of fun to like play with. But I mean, you like level up. You collect these cards, which are like mods that'll like increase your damage or like decrease the cooldown on this or whatever that you can equip. I guess beyond that, it's a shooter. Like it's a shooter RPG. It's a little overwhelming and complicated the first time you jump. It's still overwhelming and complicated for me, but I think it's pretty decent, especially for a free game.
All right, I will never look into this game.
You're probably better off because, like, I mean, unless you're actually going to go, yes, I'm going to play this and I'm going to give it a fair shot. There's just no point because you're really going to have to commit that time because it's very confusing when you first start playing it.
Yeah, that's probably not happening.
Yeah,
it sounds like fun.
It is fun. Like, I mean, even though I don't understand all of it, and everything has
might one day.
I might one day. Everything has a proper noun. So, like, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck y'all talking about right now.
Story of Ice and Firing it.
Right, yeah. This is George R.R. Martin wrote this shit. Destiny's the same way. Everything has a proper noun in Destiny. Everything's capitalized in Destiny. I like it. I want to understand it better, but it requires a time investment that, especially right now when I have so much to play, I don't know if I'll make it, but I'm going to keep chipping away at it. I do like it, and now that I can play it like on a handheld, which I like, I'll probably get further than I did on the PS4 version. The horde mode stuff is really fun. I remember one time I got match made into like a group. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. Someone just put me in a group, and then someone chose this like horde mode arena, and we just kept blasting through waves of things, just double jumping around, zipping through the air, running up walls, killing shit. It was good. It was fun. I want to find that thing again. I have no idea what that was. I've also been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So you're not going to talk about Tomb Raider.
You got the newest one.
I got the newest one. And I like it. It's more Tomb Raider. I don't think there's any radical differences between these three games.
Okay.
I will say this, though. This is something I've noticed playing this Tomb Raider. And it's something that Uncharted also does, too. And it's like this double-edged sword where I feel like these games, both these series, have a really good sense of momentum, which is very satisfying when you're playing them. They space out, the bits and pieces of their story, their puzzles, their satisfying rewards. They space those out in a very, very gratifying way, I feel like. And for me, I feel like it makes you just want to keep going. I think Tomb Raider's better at that because there's a much better rhythm in Tomb Raider because there's actually downtime in Tomb Raider. When a mission inevitably cycles you back to the hub area, now you're not go.
Right.
You're still go because it's still pulling you to do all this side stuff. So there's still some momentum, but it's just much slower. It's much leisurely momentum. So it feels good when you're playing it, but here's the downside. I don't remember a fucking thing from any one of these games once I'm done playing them. I can't tell you a goddamn thing I did in Uncharted. I can't tell you I liked the first two Tomb Raiders. I don't remember a fucking thing from them.
Yeah. Like when I'm playing the second, I got like flashes. I got bits and pieces of the first one I could remember.
Yes, exactly.
But, nothing that like sticks in my head.
And that's because the game doesn't give you that moment. It doesn't really give you a lot of time to like breathe and relish in those things. It's just moving you forward, and it feels good, and it is good. It's fun. But when you're done playing, I have no. I just it's a whirlwind.
It sounds like you don't ever go back to any of the places you.
You do, because there's in Tomb Raider, not necessarily in Uncharted, but in Tomb Raider, there are like hub areas that the missions will inevitably cycle you back to. So like you saw when I was playing,
Uncharted just moves you through level by level, though.
Yeah, Uncharted is just a roller coaster, beginning to end. But Tomb Raider, I like it more because it does have a rhythm. There's go, 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 and then there's go, go, go. You're still going, but it's a little bit slower. So like you saw me playing, and I was in that village in Peru.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the game will eventually cycle me back there once I get through some missions. I'll inevitably come back there. In the one Seth is playing, it's like this weird snowy area that you come back to frequently, and sometimes it's worth it because you can find more treasure or discover more tombs because now you have more equipment.
Okay.
So, but it also gives you that downtime to collect, more supplies and upgrade your weapons and stuff.
Okay.
So there's a place you come back to, but otherwise the game's just
it's hard to put down.
It's hard to put down.
They should do like an optional season recap on the new games. Like last time on Tomb Raider, and then just show me what the hell happened in the last game, so I can be like, oh yeah, I sort of remember that.
Yeah, like who are all your shitty friends? It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like that's the chameleon, that's the crocodile.
God, Lara's shitty friends in that first game are so bad. Like I'm really glad there's only one left in the second game from that game, at least so far.
It's good she has friends, though.
Not really, because most of them are worthless and they just end up dying. So
okay.
Yeah, the one in the second game is in the third one. That's is it what's his name?
He's the big buff dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah, he's in the third one too. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's the only one that like showed up again in the second one from the first.
What's the only one with a personality?
Yeah, I guess
they bothered to write that one. I like the games, though. I don't want to discourage anyone who heard me just say that. I was like, I don't want to play those games. I mean, that's up to you. They end up being like $15, and they're fun. They're really good. It's just they move so fast. I don't remember anything once I'm done with them.
The environments and the gameplay are really fun. I don't care about the story in them.
Nah, me neither. Yeah, like these Trinity bad guys. Like she keeps talking about them.
Are they still there? Is Trinity back in this newest one?
Surprise, Seth, you don't kill Trinity, so...
Jesus Christ.
I'm just like, I don't remember why these guys are so bad. Are they bad because they want the treasure too? I don't know. Something about her dad, something, I don't know.
They killed her dad.
They sort of did.
Maybe.
I think they did, yeah.
See?
Her stepmom was like secretly Trinity. And then, yeah.
That's what it was.
Spoilers.
Yep. That's spoiler to this like 5-year-old game.
Something that's really cool though in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you get to play as like preteen Lara.
Cool. That's okay. Is she is she in her mansion? Like
yeah. It's just it's like a
stuff?
callback to like the mansion gameplay. You get to play in the yard and like all like her playscape and stuff. And she like narrates it as if she's like exploring a tomb.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Charming.
It's very charming. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. That I'll remember. I'm sure most of this other stuff I won't. And the last thing I've been playing is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Hey, me too.
You got the Eevee version?
I got Eevee, yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot. It's simple. It's not that much simpler than a mainline Pokemon game, but there's definitely some things that have been simplified. There are definitely things that are not there. Held items are not there. I think it's abilities that are not there. And my understanding is breeding's not there either.
What? You can't make these Pokemon fuck?
No fucking, no eggs.
I saw the daycare, but I was like...
Well, the daycare was in red and blue, too.
Right. I mean, that's just... by later ones, the daycare, they start fucking in the daycare, right?
I don't know. I think there's a breeder. There's a Pokemon breeder.
Okay.
I don't really play with that stuff. That's why for me, like, it's not a missed system. Like, worrying about, like, my Pokemon's, like, ability or even their IVs or EVs, I don't pay attention to that. I don't care. I don't breed. I mean, because, like, just going through, like, the main story of the game plus a few of the extras, I mean, that's still, like, 50 hours of your time. It's still a pretty meaty adventure. I don't give a shit about all the other stuff.
Yeah, I haven't played a fucking, like, all the way through a Pokemon game since Diamond. And I forgot how long these games are. Like, I just barely beat the 4th gym, and I'm like 20 hours in or something, 15, 20 hours. And I'm like, this is a long game.
So I don't mind the things that they stripped away. I don't mind the new capture system either, which is based on Pokemon Go. It basically is Pokemon Go.
Right.
So you got the shrinking ring on enemies, and you throw the ball in the ring. Sometimes the Pokemon jumps around, so you might miss them. You can give them berries to make them more amicable, but it's basically Pokemon Go. I don't mind that. I kind of like the fact that the capture system is now separate from the battle system. It made sense in like Red and Blue because, trying to cram everything on a Game Boy cartridge. It's like, yep, they're just the same system. Just beat the shit out of the Pokemon until, it's almost dead and then throw a Pokeball. Okay, that's fine. But I feel like it's time that those are two separate systems. Whether emulating Pokemon Go is the right way to do that for the mainline series, that is, maybe not. That's fine. But I like the fact that it's two separate things now. It makes catching Pokemon or running into wild Pokemon like less of like an irritation. Especially if you can see them on the map. Because before you wouldn't know what you're running into. It was random. Wild Pokemon don't really deal a lot of experience. Not generally speaking anyway. There's not a lot of value in wild Pokemon battles, in my opinion.
And it would, basically what you would do is just walk around through grass, like hitting, waiting for battles, like hoping that a Pokemon you wanted would show up, which was not fun, or it was just a huge nuisance. Like getting through Mount Moon or the Rock Cave or whatever was just fucking brutal. Right,
but now you can choose to engage in those things.
Yep,
and
it's way nicer now.
Right, and it's a separate system, so it's its own thing, which to me, gives you something else to do other than just battling these things.
And am I crazy, or are there like a lot more trainer battles on these routes as well to like make up for the fact that you're not battling wild Pokemon anymore?
Well, the wild Pokemon actually give a lot of experience. I feel like capturing wild Pokemon, and it incentivizes capturing a bunch of them. Like, oh, I got the one Ekans. I don't need to capture any more Ekans. The game actually incentivizes capturing a lot of Ekans because, number one, as you capture more and more Ekans in a row, it deals more and more. There's a experience multiplier.
Right.
And then the second thing is you can send them to Professor Oak to, I don't know what the fuck he does with them. It's none of my business. I'm not going to ask questions. But he gives you stuff.
He fosters them to other trainers.
That's what he does. That's what I heard.
It's a boarding house. Professor Oak's Pokemon boarding house.
He loves Pokemon.
He sure does.
In a totally fine, normal, non-scary way.
So you get just like Pokemon Go, you get stuff. So it does incentivize catching a bunch of them, and it gives you a fair amount of experience. I don't know if there's more trainer battles. There might be. I didn't like count or anything. One of my two problems with the game so far is that the trainer battles have so much of the game has been simplified and made easier, and that's fine because it's still fun to play. It's still well made, and I understand that the audience may not be necessarily me specifically, so that's fine. But all the trainer battles have like one Pokemon.
I was reading about this because as I got as far as I am in the game, they have gotten harder. And so I was looking this up, and what I read online is that the game starts off easier than like Pokemon Yellow originally did, but it ends up being harder towards the end of the game.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, I was told, and this makes sense, someone told me that it's especially easier early on because they jack the shit out of Pikachu's and Eevee's stats because normally they're shitty Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
So they maxed out the IVs and added plus 20 to all of their stats. They just bulldoze shit.
I started using like other Pokemon other than my Eevee.
See, but I like that's the thing. Like, I bought the game because it's called Let's Go Eevee. Like, I want to use my Eevee. I'm
using Eevee in a pinch now. Like, once all my other Pokemon are getting fucked up, and then I'm like, all right, it's time to bring in the ringer and just fuck it.
Where are you at? I think I just got to Vermilion.
I'm in Celadon City, which is where the 4th gym is. It's like right after you do some Lavender Town, or like in the middle of Lavender Town stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So you're like one town behind me, I think.
Okay.
1 or 2. I don't know.
But it's basically Pokemon, but slightly simplified in some ways.
I mean, I feel like it's a little more complicated than the first game, at least the one it's based off of.
It's not. I mean, a lot of stuff I see online are people complaining as if it's like baby's first Pokemon, but it's not. There are just some things. There are some that perhaps Nintendo or Game Freak or whoever deemed were extraneous for the audience they were going for, and said, "Nah, get it out of here." And what you have left over is, like 90% a Pokemon game.
Yeah, no, I like it. And
it reminds me of Kirby in the sense that like it's not super difficult, but it's a pleasure to play.
And from what I hear, it ramps up in difficulty towards the end, just like Kirby.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. I like that there's no goddamn HMs, and I think they got rid of that in the Sun and Moon games as well.
Yeah, that's been on they've been trying to. You can see the last few games they've been trying to figure out how to manage those.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't bring it back for the remake or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, I hate those things.
HM
is a hidden machine, so throughout the game there are different kinds of like obstacles.
Okay.
And that's how the game gates you. And you might get an HM, which is a move that you can teach to a Pokemon that will remove that obstacle.
Okay.
But what that means is that you now have to have a Pokemon in your party that knows that HM, and you may not normally want that Pokemon. Some people
that move, because the move in battle sucks or something.
Or that move in battle sucks, right? Exactly. Who wants to use Flash?
Exactly.
Right. So that leads to people having like HM whores, like Pokemon that know that can be taught several HMs.
Okay.
So throughout the generations, there have been these HMs, and people have gotten progressively more and more irritated with them, and Game Freaks try to figure out different ways to gate you, but not gate you so that you have to like fill moves.
Okay.
Because each Pokemon can only know 4 moves.
That sounds frustrating.
Yeah. No, it sucks.
So
I've never played a Pokemon game in my entire life, so...
Right. So in the original game, there's like trees everywhere that you need to cut down, and you got to like teach a Pokemon the move cut to cut them down. But in this new one, Eevee just learns a secret technique which doesn't take up one of his move slots called like chop down. So then you could just chop down the trees without wasting a slot on this stupid move.
Because you as the Pokemon trainer just can't cut trees your own self.
It's kind of funny. The person who teaches you it is like tries to teach it to the trainer, and then Eevee starts like going blah 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 blah, and it's like, oh, I guess Eevee wants to learn instead. So then they teach it to Eevee.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I haven't gotten quite that far yet.
Yeah.
In Sun and Moon, I'm pretty sure you like radioed for help, and then a particular Pokemon would come in. You just like, yo, Charizard, fuck this shit up.
That's fine.
And that's like because someone would like tell you like, oh, here's what you need to do on your radio to get through that. And it just basically solved the same problem without having to do HMs.
Also, there's like some alternate reality story going on here or something, because like Blue shows up pretty early on in the game, and he's like, oh, you're my grandfather who's Professor Oak finally made a Pokedex, huh? When he sent me out, he just had me writing everything down on a piece of paper, or something along those lines, which is not what happened in the original games.
It reminds me of like The Simpsons when they updated like Homer and Marge's backstory to like be more modern, so they met in the 90s.
Right, instead of back in 70s high school.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly.
I've been using the Pokeball Plus as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I've been playing in handheld mode. That's my second complaint, is that motion controls, you can't turn them off. And
how's that work in handheld mode? How do you catch these? How do you throw balls?
You press a button. Actually, you don't have to throw, but the gyros are active, so it's like aiming in Breath of the Wild. But you can never turn it off. You can also you can also move your aim around with the left analog stick, and that would be perfectly fine if you could turn the gyros off, but you can't. So if you breathe too hard, the thing swings around. So I don't know why it allows you to use the analog stick but not shut off the gyros. To me, it's a minor inconvenience, but to like someone else, it seems a little ableist to me. especially in a game where like you don't need it. It's not necessary.
Oh.
The series has survived this long without that shit. Maybe you don't need it.
The control options like docked are mean because they only either let you use a single Joy-Con, which means like when you're walking around and then you want to like interact with stuff with A, you have to let go of the analog stick and move your finger down to A since you don't have like an analog stick in your left hand and buttons in your right, you know, so you got like let go, stop, whatever.
It doesn't substitute it for like one of like the shoulder buttons?
Shit, no, I don't know. I hope not. Maybe I could have been using the trigger the whole time. The thing said A though.
That would make it's like the game only uses like 2 buttons, so that would just make sense.
So I don't know. After I was playing with the single Joy-Con, I like switched to the Pokeball, which has 1 button and 1 clickable stick on it.
You just made it worse.
No, it's actually better because the clickable stick is the interactive button, so you don't have to actually let go of the stick when you want to interact with it.
I see.
So
Okay.
you just press down on it. The stupid effects on it are fun though. The lights and everything. Like when you throw the Pokeball, like it lights up as it does on screen, and then it like rumbles, and then the little Pokemon scream comes out of the ball, but like muffled, like it's actually inside of a ball. And then like whatever colored Pokemon it is, like the ring lights up that color. So like if you catch a pink Pokemon, it lights up pink, and if you catch a blue one, it lights up blue.
This is a fancy controller?
It's very fancy.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I guess I didn't do enough research.
Yeah, no, it's
I'll
sweet.
have to Google it because that sounds like it's the most fun.
I can't imagine playing a whole game like just like chucking your arm at the screen and shit though.
It's like just little tiny wrist movements. It's just like little whoops and whoops.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of exaggerating. That's true, but that's not for me. So like that comes with Mew, right?
Yeah, Mew comes inside of it. You get a level 1 Mew.
Oh, so you can use Mew right now? Like you can use? Is he on your team?
No, I'm not using it because I just don't want to OP myself already more than Eevee does.
Gotcha.
But no, it's fun. And then you could also like use it as a Pokemon Go Plus thing, and then you could also like stick a Pokemon in it from Pokemon Go and like walk around and put it back in the game, and it'll like level up depending on how far you walked or whatever.
That's cool.
Interesting. Well, I play in handheld mode, so I don't really. And how much is it? It was like $50 or something.
I just bought the bundle that came with it.
Oh, okay.
Google says it was $50.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like discounted with the bundle, I think, and then also get like 20% off, like on Best Buy purchases for games. So it was like a lot cheaper to get it just bundled with the game because I wouldn't get the discount if I just bought it separately.
Gotcha. Well, that's all I've been playing. What have you been playing, Seth? That was a lot. Like that, an hour
like
later.
A half hour.
That's all I've been playing. Aside from Pokemon, which I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about. I've been playing Resident Evil 5 with online with a friend who lives in Japan. And first of all, like the connection is like really good for like I think we had one day where we had issues with like lag or whatever and stuff was freaking out, and then we lost connection. We got back, but otherwise like everything like works so fucking smooth and nice. It's like impressive. It's impressive online mode, but the game itself is still really fun. I always liked it as a co-op game, even when it first came out. The racial shit is still not okay. It might be even worse because, like, basically you're a white dude going to Africa and killing a bunch of
Oh no!
Isn't there like a black woman you can play as too?
Yeah, she's always there, whether you're playing single player or co-op.
Gotcha.
Named Sheva, and she's your partner, and I use Sheva. Just so I could be less racist in this game. But no, like when you're in the like major cities, there's actually like a diverse group of people. It's fairly realistic, I feel, as far as diversity goes, not as far the portrayal as people goes. But then you start getting into like these African villages, like in the middle of the game, and that's where just shit feels really, really bad because they're like in tribal get-ups and stuff, and I mean, they're like monsters and they have demons coming out of their head, but it just doesn't work like it did in Resident Evil 4 where you go into Spain. That's more okay than At least it feels more okay than when you're going into these like African tribal communities and killing people.
Well, because in Resident Evil 4, there really wasn't. I mean, other than occasionally shouting like "Matano" or whatever at you, like there really wasn't a lot to draw attention to. It was just like a secluded group of people, almost like them being Spanish had no. I don't really feel like had any impact on that. Whereas like. These characters, like if I remember correctly, they were like they're like all like dressed in like furs and like bones in their noses and shit. Like
that's the later parts when you get into the villages instead of the cities. Like I said, the cities feel more okay than when you go into these villages. And
yeah, it's some like, Looney Tunes ass caricatures.
Later yeah, it's not great. But then you move away from there and then you just fight military guys, which is better.
What are you saying? Do you not support the troops?
They're like bad. They're like Somali pirate type guys. It's fine.
They're the bad troops. Okay.
And the other thing about this game is that like some of the fucking boss battles, especially towards the end, are just obtuse as hell. Because I beat this game back in the day, and I'm playing it again, and I think Hugh, the dude I'm playing with, beat it as well. But we're like trying to figure out some of these bosses at the end, and we're like, what the hell are you supposed to do? Like one of them, you gotta like run around. You're in an arena with like these floodlights, and then there's also like a rocket launcher someplace. You gotta like run around, turning off all the floodlights, and then the bad guy who's like can't see you all of a sudden because I don't know why. Well, he's wearing sunglasses. Hey, well, dude needs to take his sunglasses off. So it's like, well, I'll find you. He's just walking around. You're supposed to like shoot a rocket launcher at him. Then he catches the fucking rocket, and then you're supposed to shoot the rocket. And I remembered all that, and then like we were stuck in this loop there. I'm like, well, what the hell are you supposed to do now? You're supposed to run all the way up to the guy, and like then like button prompts come up when you run up to him, and then both of you need to like hit all these series of buttons and stuff. It's just like complicated, dumb stuff like that, where I don't know how you're supposed to figure this stuff out if you don't look it up eventually. And it just gets worse in the so the very final boss fight like takes place in a volcano, and we were just doing this part over and over again. We're literally playing like probably like 30 minutes, and we just get stuck on this one part. Like after Hugh as Chris punches a giant rock to like make a bridge for me to jump across, and then we're like, all right, what now? It turns out we just had to like run back up into the middle of the arena, and then like just triggers the second part of the boss fight. But we didn't know we were like trying to fight the boss down in a lower area. We didn't know that we had to like lure him back up into this top part because there's no indication of this whatsoever, and just like just obtuse, annoying.
It sounds Resident Evil during that area like really struggled. Like 5, 6, Raccoon City, like. Resident Evil really had some challenges then.
I think like 6 sold amazingly well though, so I mean some people were eating it up. And 5 for the most part, outside of fucking racist depictions of enemies, for like the first half of the game I feel like it's really good, and then it just tries to, even though it's like basically retreading Resident Evil 4, there's even like chainsaw guys and Gatling gun guys. And anyway, but then like towards the end, it starts getting more action heavy, and they sort of lose their footing as well on what they want to do with the game.
I felt those action heavy. Well, certainly more action heavy than like 4 pretty early on. 6 as well. Like I mean, I feel like that's the problem. Like the sort of. They don't feel like action games, despite Capcom wanting them to be action games.
That's the part with 5. It works towards the beginning, I think, because enemies don't have guns. Towards the end of the game, like you're literally like hiding behind cover and like exchanging bullets with people. That's a fair point. I guess in that respect, it is less actiony early on, but it's still very clearly wanting to be like a bombastic action game very early on. And I didn't care for it. No.
Until like Resident Evil. I mean, I haven't played 7 yet. I've heard nothing but good things. I'd like to play it at some point. But, I mean, up until that point, I feel like the handhelds were actually like the remake of Resident Evil on the DS. And then I think Mercenaries, despite the fact they got a lot of shit on it for being like, there's just Mercenaries mode. And then Revelations, like, I think those are like the best Resident Evils.
I feel like Revelations and Mercenaries is like the action games, like the action parts of Resident Evil 5, Craig.
Yeah, but that's true. I think it's structured that way. It's structured like an arcade game.
All right.
I guess I can't explain why I feel like it's different, but I do. But Revelations, honestly, I think that's the best Resident Evil period. Again, not having played 7. And Revelations 2 is a piece of shit. I don't know how they fucked that up.
It's because they fucking took away like a gun. One person either has like a flashlight or throws rocks. I don't know what they were doing with Revelations 2, man.
Well, Revelations, it seems like they wanted to take a step back and build a Resident Evil that felt like Resident Evil again.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, that was successful. Okay, Revelations 2, make it a shitty action game again. And that's they just made the same mistake that they had been making with the mainline series.
But it doesn't even work as an action game because like the second player is hampered.
No, I don't think it would be very fun as an action game anyway.
I'll see. I'm playing all of them. Me and Hugh are going to play all of them, so we'll see.
All right. Hi, Hugh.
Hey, Hugh.
Good luck, Seth and Hugh.
Thank you.
Hopefully it's not a horrible experience.
No, I don't. It's like when you're playing online and co-op and you could like talk and bullshit and stuff, it makes like everything more fun.
That's true.
That's it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Megan's like, fuck, it's my turn.
I'm not going to...
I had notes this time, so...
And you can't hear yourself in your head, right?
Right, yeah. There's not a delay.
Yeah, we paid $7 for that headphone splitter. It's working great.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not distracted by hearing my own self talking, so... I am still playing Castle Cats, day 400 and whatever in a row. Just hit level...
I feel like if you had proper notes, we would know exactly what day you're on.
Well, because I didn't write down the day when I logged in earlier. If we wait for 2 hours, I could tell you.
No, I'm not doing that.
But I just hit a level 165, and
Is there a level cap?
No.
Okay.
As far as I know, no.
There might be a level cat.
I was going to use that fun. God damn it, you beat me to it.
So there's only so many cats you can collect, and then after that, like, what's the point, I guess? But some of those cats are behind paywalls, and I refuse to pay $5 for, a digital cat. So I guess I'll never get all of the cats.
Our real cats were free, so I don't understand the problem.
For the most part.
That cat needs a loving home, Megan. You're just going to deny it because it's
somebody else.
Money?
Somebody else has already bought that cat, I'm sure.
All right.
But yeah, it's okay. They had done some changes, and I was going to talk about it last time, but I got distracted by my own voice. They changed the way like the daily quests work, and it's sort of a randomized set of requirements now. And before it was the same shit every day, and they were all reasonable things that you could accomplish. So, like before you could enter 3 battles. So you would send your cats on a quest, and you would tap on the quest to go into battle. And so you'd like fight as the cats or whatever against the weird zombie chihuahua that you were fighting. That's a real thing.
This is the first time I'm hearing of the battle
Yes.
system. You talked about this last episode, and you didn't even mention battles.
Yeah, because all you do is tap on your screen to like quote unquote fight.
Dragalia Lost is only slightly more complicated.
Well, I watched Craig play that. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is similar.
That's what they do. That's how you battle on mobile games.
Tippy tap.
Yeah. So now they changed the daily quests to things like you have to enter 10 battles, which is bullshit. I'm not doing that. It takes so much time. I don't want to spend my life doing that. You have to collect 700 materials, and before it was 100. So for me, that's not a problem. But for people who are just starting out, it's probably impossible for them. They have incorporated viewing ads as a quest. So originally it was viewing 5 ads, and the ads are like 30 seconds long. But I don't want to watch any fucking ads at all. So there's options where if you complete a quest, randomly it will say, oh, you get a gold bonus, and if you watch the ad you get 3 times the gold amount. So if you got like 2,500 gold from the quest, then that's like worth watching a 30-second ad for whatever cooking diary or whatever fucking mobile app. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll watch that. But for the most part, it's not worth it. So there was a big, huge outcry on the Castle Cats social medias about this nonsense of having to watch ads to complete your daily quest requirements. And I actually bothered to write something on their Facebook because usually I'm like, whatever. But this, I was like, I had an opinion about it.
This is a real fucking uprising.
I know. I was like,
Castle Cats has gone too far.
I was like, listen. Well, I mean, basically, I was like, this is ridiculous. But I also understand that they need to make money. And, you know, I don't spend that much money, and I haven't in a while because now I'm at a level where it's not. It doesn't seem like I need to do it. So anyway, that's Castle Cats. The Halloween event is still going on for 2 more days, and then it's going to be Christmas.
The Halloween event?
Yes. They basically cut from Halloween to Christmas. There's no like empty in between space. So it'll be Santas and snowmen and gingerbread cookies.
It's an interesting struggle for free to play games to be enjoyable in their own right, but also, you know, try to get you to spend money.
For sure.
And that's kind of like what I was saying with Dragalia Lost, where like this summon event that they're doing, you can only do it with the paid for currency.
Right.
But that doesn't, you know, and I'm like, part of me is like, oh, you fucking assholes. But part of me is like, that's not so bad. I can still do my regular tenfold summon. It doesn't detract. Like, nothing that I normally do to play the game has not changed. Unlike Castle Cats, where now they want you to watch like 5 minutes worth of fucking ads as a quest.
Well, and that's if you want to actually finish your daily quest requirements.
So what do you get? What do you get from that?
If you complete, originally it was 5 different quests that you could complete. If you completed 3, you got a mystery box, and in the mystery box it was a variety of items. And you know, the box shakes around on your screen. You tap it, and out pops whatever whatever your reward is.
It's a whole multimedia event.
Right. And so you get coins for completing most of the daily quests. You got a gem, which is the thing that you pay for. That's the paid for currency. It's harder to come by. So you would get a gem if you watched the ads. And so
wait, like if you complete one quest, you don't necessarily get a reward for that.
No, you do. So if you complete, like, watch 3 ads, watch 5 ads, whatever it is, you get 1 gem. If you shake your cats for gold and collect 100 gold from your poor shaking cats, you get 500 more gold. So there's like little rewards, and then if you do 3 of those things, you get a slightly better reward.
What if you do all? How many? 5? You said
it was 5. Now they've moved it down to 4. So you have to complete 3 of the 4.
What if you do all 4? Do you get something better?
No, you just get the little presents plus the shaky box.
So the goal here isn't necessarily to do all 4. It's to do 3 of them, but sort of like pick your poison.
Right. And so if the ad is if the ad watch the ads one is there, I don't do it. So if it's like enter 10 battles and watch ads, I'm like, guess I'm not getting the daily quest bonus because I'm not fucking doing this. So, and that's fine. Like I choose not to spend my time actively engaging with the app. I usually open it, send my cats on quests, check back in 2 hours when the quests are done, and collect my quest rewards and do the same. You know, it's less of an engaging sort of game. Especially once you get to a level where your quests don't take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Because in the beginning, you're constantly checking it because your quests don't take very long.
Right.
And you're constantly trying to collect materials and shit. But
well, maybe if they had more events. I mean, that's, you know, Dragalia Lost and Castle Cats aren't exactly the same thing. But like one of the big benefits of Dragalia Lost and keeping attention is that you have an event. It lasts, you know, like a week and a half or something. You get unique stuff out of that, and then there's a little bit of a downtime where it tells you, oh, the next event is going to be water-based or whatever, so it's going to be water-based, so, you know, beef up your win team, and then you have that time to do that, and then the event, a few days later, there's a new event, and that's, you know, that's one of the benefits. But maybe that's because, you know, it has all that Nintendo money in it.
Well, there's that, and also, like, you have different types of, like, teams, whereas this is, like, the Halloween event is so you can get Halloween cats, and you can get like special, like my cat's got a vampire face and like a cool cape and like a ghost that. Well,
right. I mean, that's the case in Dragalia Lost too. There's Halloween. There are themed summons that you can get for those events. But that's the case too in Castle Cats. So if they had more of those, you might be more inclined to maybe spend a couple of bucks or. engage with the game rather than them, because they're not doing that. They're trying to retain you or make more money from you in different ways.
Right.
And so they're trying to retain you by forcing you to do 10 fucking battles, or trying to get money from you or whatever, making you watch ads or something.
Right.
They're doing it the wrong way is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think eventually maybe the system will get better, but
Yeah.
at this point, I've obviously invested enough of my time. Like, I'm going to keep playing because
Of course,
there's
yeah.
something enjoyable about it. I'm just not going to be as invested as
I'm
I
not
was
ragging on
before.
you or the game. to
Oh,
be
no,
clear,
I know. So, but Christmas time is coming up, and I think there are a couple of special Christmas cats that I could grow from eggs that I didn't do last year. So
Are they going to be the? Well, you don't know. 'Cause
They'll
you
be
haven't-
the same. They're
they'll be
always the same. Yeah.
They're always the same.
yeah.
So it's not like Overwatch where like some of them are the same, but they have some new ones.
As far as I know, all the ones from the previous event will be there, and they might add like one or two. They don't, but because like maybe they had an influx of users, joined in the last year since the last event, and so they don't want to sort of freeze them out by being like, here's 8 cats that you have to, because to summon a cat, you need at least 400, because there are different levels of like special eggs or whatever. You need at least 400 of each event material, and there are always 3 event materials. So you need 1,200 of these event materials
Fuck.
that you get from quests, and you get like 5 to 7 per quest. So like you got to grind that shit out. And so,
But that also kind of comes back to what I was saying about retaining people. Like
Right.
that doesn't. If I were to do, if Overwatch, because Overwatch has its annualized
Right.
event, so it has like a Christmas one or a Halloween one, and you do a Christmas one, and it'll have the same skins from Christmas last year that you can get, but it'll also have new ones.
Right.
And the thing is, if you don't do the new ones, your dedicated players, maybe they'll stay. You're probably going to stay, but you're not as involved with it because
Right.
there's not as much incentive for you. So
Right.
you're saying you don't want to alienate the new players, and that's fair. That's true, but it seems to be at the expense of creating more engaging stuff for the people who have been logging in for 400
Well,
some odd days.
and also like I also some of the shine has worn off. Like I don't really. I don't really care as much, so
Gotcha.
that's probably part of it too. But yeah, Castle Cat's still a thing, still going. I've been playing Crossing Souls, which is a fun. I'm not sure what the game terminology is for it. It's like an adventure puzzle game. Does that sound accurate to you, Craig
Yeah, that sounds like a thing.
and Seth?
yeah.
Okay.
It has sort of like a Lost Vikings that I don't know how Lost Vikings became its own genre, but it has, different characters you can swap between that have different abilities.
Yeah, and it's fun because there's like the ghost world and also the human world. And so some of the characters are ghosts, and so they can do special ghost shit. And there's puzzles, and I really like puzzles. I've definitely had to Google things because I just could not figure out what the fuck was happening. There's this really great like chessboard puzzle where there's all these icons on a wall that are supposed to be your directions, and then your little you send your ghost friend through some closed doors to find the key to what all of those icons actually mean in terms of like if it's a number or a plus sign or a minus or a direction or what. So I took a photo of my Switch screen on my phone, so I had the little icons handy, and then I'm trying to figure out this chessboard, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck I was supposed to do, so eventually I gave up and Googled it, but I was like, well, I tried, so...
Did it make sense after you Googled it? Like, could
No.
you, no?
No, because people were just sort of like, well, because there were all these tiles, but then one of the tiles had fallen and was resting on the ground, and so some people were like, oh, well, because it fell to the ground, it meant to go right instead of like it being a plus sign. I'm like, how? By what logic? I don't
Right.
understand. But I just want to get past this puzzle so I can move on. It's got some really great cutscenes because they're like animated, and it's all in 80 because it takes place in the 80s, so it's a very good 80s aesthetic.
It's the in thing these days.
Yes, and I love it. And right now I'm stuck on this hard as fuck bullet storm.
You still have that shmup
Yes,
part?
I can't fucking get through it, and it's maddening because I've gotten so close to getting past it.
So Seth, I want to. You've played your fair share of shmups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the shop, she had me play it, and I was playing because I played quite a few myself. I couldn't. This was so irritating. The ship has drift, so like when you stop moving, it still has like inertia. So like you can't precise, and it's bullet hell. So there's curtains of bullets, and it's so fucking difficult because instead of precisely maneuvering through these bullets, you're sort of like drifting with inertia through them.
No, you don't do inertia with bullet hell.
No, you can't do that. But that's
need
exactly
like super precise movement, man.
It's infuriating.
It's a bit of a challenge. I mean, you've got like a pretty good life bar, I guess. You don't have a life bar where you can see where you're at. When your little vehicle starts smoking, that's when you know you're pretty close to being done. So that's been a challenge. And basically, I played. I think I've tried like at least 15, 20 times, and right now we're on a hiatus because it just wasn't working for me.
Crossing Souls and Chris are in the same
world. Yeah, they're both in Chrysalises. I'm going to come back to it.
I'll beat it. Mail it to me. Mail me your Switch with the game in it.
Well, I just got Undertale, so I'm going to try something else for a little bit when I'm not playing Fallout 76. Okay. So when Craig wants to watch something on the television, and when I tear myself away from Appalachia...
Or play Tomb Raider, one of my own games.
Right, or when Craig gets to play something on the PS4.
Eventually, one of these days.
Yeah, eventually. But so yeah, that's the other thing I've been playing is Fallout 76, and that's all I can think about and all I want to do. So I love my husband, but also I just want to crawl out through the Fallout.
So that's why there's no more Diablo co-op.
Basically,
that's exactly why. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I just want to drag all of my shit all over the hills and mines of West Virginia while getting murdered by super mutants and hordes of feral ghouls. I'm very bad at aiming, and so a lot of what I try and do right now is use melee weapons because at least I can hit things more or less reliably. My favorite weapon it's called the Death Tambo, and it is a tambourine that's been repurposed as a weapon. So it's got metal shards on it, and so when you punch, it makes tambourine noises, and it's my favorite thing. And it's good. I'm really enjoying it. There's shit that's it makes it less fun. I don't really like managing my thirst and my hunger, especially because I am always over encumbered and having to kill animals and take their meat and then cook their meat so that I can recover 5 hit points is such a pain in the ass I can't stim packs are impossible to find. So you're constantly on the brink of death, if you're me, I guess. Maybe other people don't have this problem, but I'm almost always gonna die. And usually there's hordes of enemies. It's never just one random dog wandering around. It's the dog and its 10 friends.
Right.
And you go
at least he has friends.
Right. And at least they have friends. Unlike me, I don't group up with anybody. I don't try and be on a team. I see people, I wave at them, and I go the other way. So it's just me lone wandering, and all of the enemy friends ganking my ass constantly. And it's more fun than the beta was. I think they fixed maybe a couple of things. But Craig finally convinced me that I can't play it like Fallout 4. So I can't just collect junk and build things. I have to actually, try and be strategic about how I approach locations and other enemies and whatnot. So
she'd have 2 enemy types fighting each other, and then she'd start shooting all the different enemies. I'm you're going to aggro them, let them kill each other. And then kill the winner. But she's shooting at all of them. I'm you're just gonna piss them all off and get your ass murdered.
I did it with the Deathclaw today though, and it worked out really well because there was a Deathclaw fighting 2 super mutants, and I'm level 23 now. I think I was level 20 at the time, and the Deathclaw was a 31, and the super mutants were mid-20s. And so I just sat there on my sniper rifle watching what was happening. I was like, okay, eventually, like, I'll just fight whoever won this fight. And it was a death claw, and they were like almost dead, so it worked out really well for me. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. I like some of the new hot bangers they got on the Appalachia radio. There's this one song that I don't know what it's called, but at one point it's like, book it. And so Craig and I keep like singing it to each other.
Head.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. It's not even about chickens, I don't think, but
she plays
They
plays the
kick the
game like
bucket?
4 hours at a time. So all I hear is this fucking bucket song over and over again.
sometimes I don't have the radio on, but it's just really quiet, so I don't like wandering around in the silence or hearing the skittering of all of the various people's feet or limbs. Yeah, no, it's fun. I just got my Nuka Girl rocket suit because the atoms, that it's the currency that you can get from doing challenges, or you can buy the atoms, and it's just for cosmetic shit. Like you can buy outfits and photo frames and emotes and whatever. So they had a rocket suit, so I bought it, and it doesn't do anything. Like the outfits in 76 don't give you any perks, as far as I know. Maybe there are some that do, but this is purely aesthetic, which I dig. I'm into it.
It seems to separate armor, which has a benefit, from outfits, which are purely aesthetic.
Right.
And since you're never going to team up with anybody, nobody else is ever going to see it.
Well, no, they'll see it when I'm waving and walking away.
You should try teaming up with like somebody just
This
just
is
to
what
see
I'm
what
saying.
it's
Craig
like.
keeps telling me, well, somebody invited me to a group, so I joined it, and then I fast traveled to them, and they were just in their house.
Yeah, they went AFK or something.
Yeah, and I was
No.
like, okay, well, I've got a quest to do, so
It's a good first experience of teaming up.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I got some atoms for joining a group, so that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I was really excited for this game, and well, it's not everything I hoped it would be. It's not the worst, and it's not nearly as disappointing as I found the beta to be. So
Now, not that I don't want you to think I'm like questioning your taste or anything, but
Yeah.
do you think that you are like making the best of a shit sandwich, or is it just like you actually did find something underneath the surface that you're like, yes, I like this? You're like, fuck it, I paid this for this game. I'm gonna
I
fucking
didn't-
like it.
I
God
didn't
damn
even-
it!
I didn't actually think about like paying for it because we did some
traded in games,
trade-ins,
yeah.
which sort of like masked the actual dollar cost.
Not to me.
Yeah, well, for me. I mean, I'm really enjoying, besides the, like, getting killed, like, there's something very gratifying about winning those fights where I'm kiting, like, 10 dudes down a road, you know, constantly. I mean, it's very stressful, and I'm very sweaty most of the time, but I feel very good about myself when I actually survive. So I think the more I learn, like, how to play this game, so, you know, we had to do some Googling to learn how to like get certain materials and how to actually acquire adhesive, for instance, and how to set up your camp and how camp works, because they don't explain it very well. And so, you know, when you move your little camp around, everything that you had built before is in your stored area, so you don't actually have to make blueprints for shit. You can just pick up your camp, set it back down, and then all of your stored items they're individual, so you have to rebuild it. But that's fine because your blueprints are set to a certain gradient of the ground and it won't match up perfectly wherever you set it. So, you know, learning how to actually operate that way made it a lot less painful. So, I mean, I might be trying to make the best of a shit sandwich because I really like Fallout, like as a concept. So I'm willing to accept like a shit sandwich because it's Fallout.
Yeah, that's basically.
But I like trash. Like I love trash. I love, you know, like bad TV and shitty books and fan fiction. So like this to me, I'm like, the quality isn't great, but I love the content enough to deal with it.
Now I understand why you're with Craig.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't,
Everything's coming together.
Yep.
Were you ever going to play Fallout, Seth?
Fallout 76. No, I'm going to pass on that.
Yeah.
That's a pass for me. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, that's okay. It's not for everybody, obviously.
It's already like $30
Yeah.
for Black Friday, so it's obviously not for most people.
Having to Google things in games to figure them out like sucks these days. Like I hate like how many games like you need a wiki to reference like on how to like play your fucking game.
Well, not even that. It's not even like there's no good way to find it. It's some asshole with a fucking YouTube video that's like 12 minutes long.
For one sentence that
Hey everyone, it's your pal Game Stomper back with another video, and you're like, oh my god, fuck you, Game Stomper. I don't want to hear it.
There'll be like a wiki up for Fallout 76 if there isn't already.
There is.
Which I find better than YouTube videos. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Nah, a lot of games I found you have to. It's videos. It's. There might be a page somewhere someone wrote it down, but.
For Crossing Souls, I've had to like scrub through YouTube videos and I was just like, ugh, I did all this. I just want this 1 second showing me where the thing is that I missed. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all I've been playing is Fallout 76 forever.
And Gatos Castillos.
Yes, Gatos Castillos, which is available in Spanish.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's available in a whole bunch of languages.
That's
Good
probably
news,
why they're
Seth.
skipping Thanksgiving, because that's more of an American thing. That's why they're going straight from Halloween to...
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Is the game is there? Is the development team like Mexican or Spanish?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well then I don't think that has anything to do with them skipping Thanksgiving.
I just mean for the worldwide audience.
So-
I mean, if it's a worldwide game, not everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could probably do some Harvest, some generic
So,
Harvest something. or
It's
whatever.
available in English. I want to say that might be Polish, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. Russian, Polish. What's Svenska? Swedish.
Probably
Chinese,
that's
Japanese, Finnish, and potentially a dialect of Chinese. I'm not sure.
Might be
'cause
like
it's-
simplified.
yeah. So it's available in a bunch of languages.
It's available in more places than Dragalia Lost.
Hey,
Dragalia Lost is available in like 3 countries.
get Castle Cats.
I guess that sweet Nintendo money just doesn't pay for translators.
Guess
No,
not.
obviously
Well, there's
not.
not a lot to translate.
It's not
on
even.
Castle Cats.
My understanding, it's not even in Canada because I don't think there's a French. I don't think there's a French language for it.
Oh yeah, and Canada makes you do that.
Yep. All right. So we want to talk about some news.
I guess.
Sure.
All right. Well, I guess first up we have there's an animated Devil May Cry series in the works from the Castlevania cartoon producer. And do you have this queued up, Seth?
No.
Okay,
But,
so
I'm
he
trying.
had this- so they're going to call this the bootleg multiverse, which is all right. That's you're 17 and that's cool.
I don't know what they mean by bootleg.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, if you bought it outright or whatever.
right? They paid for the rights
paid
here.
for it.
This is on the up. This is the Up and Up multiverse.
Right. I think because it's just two different companies. It's Konami and Capcom. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't. Okay.
No, I agree with you.
I
I
understand you trying to explain it. It still doesn't make sense though. They acquired. He says, "I acquired these rights myself so that the jabronis in Hollywood don't fuck this one up too." As if there were people like banging down the door trying to like do another
Devil May
do
Cry.
a Devil May Cry movie.
Right.
I can't believe he said jabronis, but
He's trying to bring it back.
he's working on bringing it back.
He's
Jabroni.
bringing it back.
And I don't know, dude. Calm down. Castlevania's good, but it's not like.
People love it.
No, I mean we liked it. We watched it too. We
I
liked it.
don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like Tomb Raider in that
I
way,
was
huh?
not paying any attention.
Nah, it was good, but this guy's like, I can't trust these jabronis to do it. I'm going to do it myself in the bootleg multiverse.
I'm in the middle of the second season. I'm watching the second season of Castlevania right now. It's a lot better than the first season.
We haven't watched that yet. But I mean that's good news because I mean the Castlevania cartoon is good. Is this going to be on Netflix as well?
There's
I
no
believe so.
guarantee. I think he has to like shop it out.
Oh, has
'cause
he
they-
not picked
'cause-
up anything yet?
Right. Well,
No
my
distributor?
understanding from the article. So I read this article and then I read another article that I can't remember what the title was, but it was also on IGN, and it was about how, you know, if it was on Netflix, then that would make sense, but there's no guarantee because he bought the ability to do this, but no like plan with Netflix.
Yeah, so
yet.
does it have like anybody like fronting money for this or anything yet?
I
Jesus
think
Christ.
it was just him being like, "Oh, gotta get Devil May Cry right."
He's got that sweet, sweet Castlevania money, so he
Right.
bought it.
It's like gotta get these dudes together.
There's some speculation he's going to do like a Zelda show.
Yeah, I remember that. But
Well,
I
it could
guess
be
that-
part of the bootleg multiverse.
fucking Dante and Link. That would. All right.
Are they set? Are they going to be interacting with each other?
As far as I could tell, they're maybe. It sounds like he wants to do some sort of crossover aspect to him.
Konami's going to be down for that? I don't know. Konami's dumb, so I don't think that's...
You don't know what Konami's going to do. That's
No,
the
that's
thing,
true.
though.
I don't. You're right. They don't make the best decisions, so I don't know.
They have a hat that they throw at a wall, and that's how they make decisions. There's nothing
they're more
written on the hat or the wall.
They're more profitable now than they were when they were like making games.
I'm sure, because I don't think they knew how to manage that.
That's true. That's a good point.
Well, the article I read was comparing like this potential multiverse with like the CWDC multiverse of The Flash and Supergirl, where they're like they take place in different universes, but they sometimes cross over. And so this might be like that, where
we'll
take
get a
place
time
separate,
travel
but-
episode
right,
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because why not?
exactly.
I mean, of all the... I could see these two franchises working together. It's possible. All right, so the jabronis in Hollywood. So the other piece of news we got here, we got Sony's not going to be at E3 in 2019. And not even like Nintendo not being at E3. There's no press conference, no presence in the convention center, no plans to do their own videos, fucking nothing.
They're gone. They're out. I don't understand it.
That's a big blow to the show in general. I mean, to like lose
One
that
of the big
vendor
three?
in that space. What?
Yeah,
That's
to lose
big.
one of the big three.
Absolutely. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I like the way Nintendo's handled it. I mean, they're at E3, even if they're not doing a press conference, they're there. The games are playable. But this is probably really expensive, and it's becoming. I don't think E3 is completely irrelevant. There's relevance to it. There's value in it, but it's not what it was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
It's just insane. I mean, I could understand them dropping their press conference last year fucking sucked. I don't know why they had to stick everybody in like a tent for one trailer and then herd them off to another venue while some jabronis with microphones at a desk were like doing a play-by-play of what we just saw. I don't know what the hell was going on with any of that, but just to not even have just like a presence at the show at all is crazy to me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the way it was. I mean, the press can play games pre-release digitally in some way, or they don't. Not everyone needs to. Sony, as well as the press, don't need to commit to the expense of going to this event.
Yeah, but like it's everybody's eyes are on E3. Everybody who plays video games is paying attention.
That's true. It's not even just video games. I mean, there's a lot of
huge
mainstream
marketing
press.
tool.
There's a lot of mainstream press at these things, and a lot of that covers it for a lot of the normies too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, maybe they're just testing it out. They're like, well, let's see how much E3 actually affects sales versus how much it costs. I mean, if shit doesn't go well for them this year, they could always just go back again in 2020. So,
and I mean, this is the right time to do it because this is ostensibly the twilight of the PS4, which is weird to say because the PS4 has been out for 5 years. It doesn't feel like it, but
yeah,
it has been. And the rumor is, I don't know. I heard that this kind of plays into it, but the PS5 is rumored to come out in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
I don't know why that means that they can't be at E3 in 2019, but apparently that had something to do with it, perhaps. I don't know.
They're just going to do a VR press conference, so everybody with Sony or PlayStation VR can just watch.
All dozens of us.
I don't know if you're being facetious, but that's actually
I'm like
probably
half
a good
and
idea.
half.
Yeah, that's almost like a good idea, actually.
Well, now that you say that, I just remember that Sony's the one who always does like the movie theater press conference, like where certain movie theaters you could go and watch their press conference at a movie theater.
Oh, do they? I didn't
Yeah.
Huh.
It's which seems dumb, but whatever.
If you're super into it.
If you're super duper into it, I want to pretend like you're there.
Huh.
But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't think it'll hurt them. I don't think it matters.
Probably not.
And if you're going to test the waters, it's when your console's 5 years old,
Yeah.
or at this point, almost 6 years old.
I wish the console generations were like 10 plus years, like a 360 and PS3.
Well, they're getting there. I mean, they're getting there. Like 360 and PS3. I mean, they felt long in the tooth when they were done, but they had like a 7-year run. That felt fine. And you know, with the PS4 and I don't use the one, but you know, the PS4 and the one, I don't feel like we're due.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like. We're still getting like fucking re-releases from last gen coming out, like all the time. And
to be fair, I felt that way about the 360 and the PS3, and I just said, I just went back to play the 360, and it looks like a PS2. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but like I don't. It's weird. I don't feel like we're there yet at all. And I think what's helped it is like the slim consoles. And you know the
Pro and the X,
Pro and the X, you know, with the mild bump in specs, and which I think, I mean, I feel like that if you're going to go longer than 5 years, I feel like those things probably should have come out around the 4 or 5 year mark rather than a couple of years ago like they did. But just to space those things out. But you know, this doesn't feel like we need a new system. I don't think unless there's like some amazing games for this, I don't even see myself buying a console at launch again, unless it's a Nintendo system.
Yeah, I just could do my Nintendos at launch. I didn't even get a PS4 until it was like a year or two out. So
yeah, that's not me ragging on the PS4 or the Xbox or Microsoft. I mean, I'll rag on Microsoft. That's fine, but that's not necessarily what I'm doing right now. It's just that there's diminishing returns here. PS4 and Xbox One are definitely better than their predecessors, maybe more than I expected them to be at the time they released. But I can't see myself getting so much out of like a PS5 in a year and a half or whatever that I'm gonna have to rush out and buy it.
Yeah, because I just
don't see that happening.
I just don't feel like I'm done. I just don't feel like I'm done with the PS4.
Right? No, me neither.
Still so many things to play.
There is
Or
so
finish
much life
playing.
in it.
So many 47 gig patches to apply to Fallout 76.
Hell yeah.
Was there a 47 gig?
Yes.
Yes, and it was
ridiculous.
the patch notes were just like minor bug fixes too. It wasn't even like anything. I'm like, well, fucking Bethesda. We actually had to like shushle things around like between the hard drives and stuff to actually download it.
Yeah, it's bigger than a full game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's bigger than Tomb Raider. I'm playing Tomb Raider. It's bigger than that. It's like twice the size of Tomb Raider.
It's crazy.
And then the third piece of news we have here actually plays into a little bit of this almost like topic that we're going to get into in this really long episode.
Sorry.
And that's nothing. I always talk more than everyone else. I have no one to blame but myself.
Oh, okay.
Kotaku did an interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo America, and he said that there's no N64 Classic on the horizon.
Sad times.
I know that made me so miserable when I read that, but I mean, I think it's a matter of figuring out the logistics for that financially, because that's a weird system to do. If they pack two controllers in there like they did with the NES and the SNES, that's going to be expensive. There's no way to like really strip down the cost on those things. Those are probably pretty expensive controllers.
Well, they were cheap when they first came out. They were like $20 controllers, Craig.
They were $30, and that was in $1996.
Well, whatever.
What does that mean now?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I remember having to save up for one.
No, but I agree. They're and they would have to like do some slight alterations on them because there's no way they could release with the same analog stick that they came out with back in the day. Because otherwise, everybody's going to have a floppy stick after a year or two.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Nobody wants a floppy stick.
Nobody wants a floppy stick.
Where is this podcast going?
$48.18 in 1996.
So they cost. That's not cheap. That's cheaper than modern controllers, but it's pretty close. It's pretty comparable.
All right,
about $50. That's not far off the mark. So I think the controllers play a part of it, but I think it's the cost of controllers. It's the cost of the games because I think the games are in flux. I think deciding how many and what games to put in there is probably more difficult than the NES or the SNES.
Mm.
It's because I mean, just when I was doing a list here, it's because like all the games were like bangers, man. Nintendo had to make good games because nobody else was putting out a lot of games. So like all of them were winners. So it's hard to like weed down a list.
Not just weed down a list, but like if you're going to include third-party games, like who do you include? Like there's really not that many that could step up to the plate.
I'll get into that.
I'm glad you will.
We all will.
I think
maybe
one of the challenges there is obviously GoldenEye. How do you ship this thing without GoldenEye on it? You know,
right? And
figuring out the logistics of that is probably going to be really tough. But it's also like the amount of games, like how many games you put on this, because Nintendo sees value in their game library.
Right.
And the NES launched with 50, I think, and the SNES did 20.
30 and 21, but okay.
30 and okay, my mistake. Yeah, okay. So 30 and because I don't have the NES, I have the SNES. Okay. So 30 and 21. I don't see this thing. You know, we made up our own list here. That's what we're going to get to. We talked about this probably about 2 months ago. Or finally got around to it. We settled on 15 games, but I think it would be less than that. I think that realistically, this system would be 10 to 12 games for no less than $100.
That's too few games.
I know it's right, but think about how much they sell these games for on Virtual Console. Plus the cost of those controllers. Plus if they put GoldenEye on this thing, which I feel like they have to, what that's going to cost them to do that. Mm-hmm. And so, like realistically, I mean, not what you want, but realistically, it's 10 to 12. I don't see how this happens without 10 to 12 games at $100 or more. I just don't see how that happens.
I 100% think if when it does come, there's not going to be a GoldenEye on it. There's just no way. Nintendo's too stingy to repay for licensing for all of that.
It's not just like the license though. I think it's like, I mean, there's a couple different hands in that cookie jar, right?
As far as I know, Nintendo owns the publishing rights to it, so I think it's just whoever currently owns the James Bond license, and then like licensing, because the game had like likenesses for the different characters inside as well. It had like Pierce Brosnan and Oddjob and Jaws and stuff like that. So
Pierce is going to want those residuals.
Yeah, so they're either going to have to like change James Bond's shitty model that you can't even tell is Pierce anyway, or I'd pay up for like those just minor things as well.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, I just don't see how this thing sells without that though.
Because there's like fucking Mario and Zelda and stuff.
I mean, I would buy it because I'm a goon, but yeah, I mean, you're right. No, there are other great games. I'm not denying that. And like I said, we'll get to that. But like, I mean, I feel like GoldenEye is one of those linchpins. Like, I feel like it's almost as if you do not have Ocarina of Time or Mario on this. Almost. Not quite, but very, very close.
I agree, like, on a public consensus, but I don't really fucking care about GoldenEye.
Well, right.
Yeah,
but that's what
I wouldn't give a shit.
Right, no, I mean, that's what I am talking. I'm talking about broader,
Now everybody
realistic
loved
operating in
GoldenEye.
the real world. Yeah, I think there were people that would throw fits about it.
Then they didn't deserve the Nintendo 64 Classic.
But even if GoldenEye's not on this, I mean, you know Nintendo and how they value their games. Do you really see this, costing less than $100 and really having that many games on it
No.
with 2 controllers? Be realistic. Do you really see that?
I think if they're doing 20 games with 2 controllers, it'd be like at least 150.
I don't see 20 games on this. Do you really though? Do you? I mean, do you see it as a possibility?
I see it as a possibility. I'm not entirely. I just feel like you hit a value where people will just not be willing to pay for it because they're like, oh, there's not enough games on that thing. I mean, Sony just did theirs with 20, and I feel like Nintendo would have to do something comparable
But
to that.
the difference is that Nintendo could fill it with 10 games and there'd be 10 fucking bangers, and Sony can do 20 and it's just sludge, and that's the difference.
Yeah, but people want their numbers.
That's a fair point. Yeah, a lot of people. Well, it's because no one's going to sit down and play these games beginning to end. They just want volume, so they can, because they're going to offset the fact that they're not going to play any one game to the end. So they'll play
Right.
20 games for a half hour each or something. Yeah, no, that's true.
But how can you only play a half hour of Donkey Kong 64?
Because
You
then you
can't.
go like, oh, fucking too many bananas, I'm out.
All right. Well, with that all said, let's talk about some games we'd like to see on this. Like I said, we settled on 15 each. We made 2 different lists, a realistic list and an ideal list. And if it's okay with everyone, I'll go first.
Sure.
So my realistic list is Mario 64, Mario Kart, one of the Mario parties. I don't follow Mario Party.
I wrote down Mario Party whatever.
3.
Yeah, it's basically Mario Party whatever. 3, that's fine. It can be
3 has cake making.
That's as good a selling point as any. Smash Brothers, Paper Mario, Ocarina of Time, Turok, Rogue Squadron, 1080, Mario Tennis, Kirby, Star Fox, Donkey Kong 64, Bomberman 64, and even on my realistic list, I have GoldenEye.
Now, see, here's my contention with Turok. I don't think they're going to do any M-rated games on this thing.
Oh, that's a fair point. I didn't think of it that way. I was just thinking about games that like are good and people recognize and were heavily advertised. Like Bomberman 64, maybe that's not what people. I mean, I think of Bomberman with the N64, but other people may not. But that was heavily advertised. That game was pushed quite heavily back then.
I like the game.
That's
too.
how I was thinking of it.
Right.
So maybe that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go above a teen rating for these things.
Maybe they just put green blood in it.
Maybe. But, I mean, especially, Turok 2, there's like cerebral bores and stuff. I don't think that's going to work out.
All right, no, that's a fair point. I didn't think about that at all. That's a fair point. I don't know what you would swap in there then. Maybe
Pokemon Snap.
Maybe for a realistic one. Maybe I would say either Wave Race or Pokemon Snap
Yeah.
for realistic. My ideal is Mario 64, Mario Kart. We're going with ideal now. This is not just to be clear.
fine.
As long as it's released on the N64. Duke Nukem 64,
Okay.
Paper Mario, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Star Fox 64, Bomberman 64, Turok 2, because it's way better than Turok 1,
Right.
Banjo-Kazooie, Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, Pokemon Snap, Sin and Punishment, and I don't know if you're going to give me shit for this, but Castlevania.
Castlevania, Craig. Nah, they're not doing that.
It's a weird, chunky game, but like I like that it's weird. Like it's not aged well. It's an N64 game. You know, it's a 3D Castlevania game, but I like it. I like that it's weird. Like it has like skeletons riding motorcycles and like a shitty camera, and I just
Nobody likes that there's a shitty camera.
I kind of do. I kind of do.
Well,
Like it's part of the aesthetic. It's part of like the. I don't know. It sucks, but like I like it.
That's how I am with Shadows of the Empire. Because I know that game's terrible, but I fucking love it.
It has merit.
It has merit, but like I have not replayed it, but I could tell, like, just remembering the game design and how it plays, that it would be horrible to play again.
Those levels are so big.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
levels
no,
are so
that game's clunky as fuck.
All right, so that's me. Does anybody want to weigh in on my lists
I
without
have a
divulging
lot
their own?
I have a lot of crossover, so
I imagine
good
that's
list.
the case.
That's all I have to say.
I guess what about like my ideal list? Is there anything on my ideal list that like stands out to you as interesting or?
No,
No.
I don't know
I'm surprised
what's
by
in-
the lack of rare games on there.
What's that?
I'm surprised by the lack of rareware.
I have
Games.
Banjo, Jet Force, Perfect Dark, and
Did you? Was I not paying attention? Did I
yeah,
zone
you probably
out?
just tuned me out. That's fine. Yeah. So I mean, this is
Okay,
an
no,
ideal
no,
one.
that's fine.
That's not going to happen in a realistic one.
Right.
But yeah, no, I had Banjo, Jet Force, and Perfect Dark.
Okay. I got some more interesting third parties than that, I think.
Yeah, I kind of played it because I mean, there's stuff that I like. Like, I mean, Space Station Silicon Valley's good. Body Harvest is good. I just, if I'm building an N64 and I have limited slots, like if I
Right.
had like 20, like maybe they'd be on there. They just don't
Right.
make my 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
I broke the rules anyway, so Megan should go next.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have as much N64 experience because when it came out, I basically spent my entire life playing Donkey Kong 64 and Mario 64.
Well, that's because
and
that's
didn't
how long it
branch
takes to
out.
beat Donkey Kong 64.
I did, and I had the walkthrough guide, which I actually still have on my bookshelf, and I fucking loved that game. So that was my first pick for the realistic list, was DK64.
Right.
And then I have Mario 64 because that was fun, and Mario Party 3 because I had a great time playing that with my friend all
Did you
the
know
time.
that? Did you know that Cake Maker's on that one?
Yeah, and that's why I love it so much. See, Seth, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
I actually went through a list. I was like, okay, what seems like the most likely thing? So I had Bomberman 64, even though I didn't know Bomberman was on the N64 until today. I put Castlevania.
we own it. It's been sitting in our
Dude,
dining
I
room for
do
the
not
past
look at
3
the.
years.
I'm like, all right.
Megan,
I just see a bunch of boxes. I'm like, cool.
Megan, you would like Bomberman 64 because it's a puzzle game. Like you
It's
gotta
a
like.
puzzle.
Oh.
It's good.
Okay, well,
you got to like
w-
figure out how to like lay out your bombs and like because you can't jump, so you got to like lay bombs across like gaps and jump across them and stuff like or bounce across them. It's really fun. It's a good game.
It got some bomb music too.
Oh well, I'll have to give it a go. I put Castlevania on there because I was like, people know what Castlevania is.
I love your reasoning for this. Bomberman, that's a thing. Castlevania,
People
someone else has
recognize
heard of
it. Right. I'm like, okay, so what's going to get people who are like, well, I didn't play it then, but maybe I'll play it now, but they don't know whether or not it's chunky or weird because I don't know that. So I put Cruisin' USA because a racing game has to be on something. I put Doom 64, but was that a mature rated? Because I was a child, so
I don't know if it was. It could have been an M-rated one, but they've also. I mean, those first-person shooters. I know that they often altered them pretty heavily. Like Duke
okay.
Duke Nukem, I think is definitely M, but it's heavily altered from its original.
Yeah, I remember Doom was too, but I don't remember what rating it popped out. I'm gonna check.
Well, I had GoldenEye because that seems to be a requirement. I put Harvest Moon because again, name recognition, and I like Harvest Moon. And
yeah, that should have made my ideal one, but I guess it didn't.
Oh no, this is my realistic list. We haven't gotten to the ideal one, which is
either way,
bananas.
Yeah, that's a good pick because that's a well liked Harvest Moon.
I put Pokemon Snap because I figured that's a fun game and Pokemon is popular. Ocarina of Time, of course, Smash, Mario Kart, and Mario Tennis, because those were all fun things to play, and people, I'm sure, had fun playing them with their friends, and You know, that would be like it'd be like a good party console. Like, hey friends,
Yeah.
our age, come over, let's play our N64 Classic and play these old ass games that we used to play as kids and pretend like everything's fine for an hour.
With fellow kids who are our age.
Fellow kids who are our
Please
age.
enjoy our digital entertainment.
Exactly.
I love Mario Golf 64.
Did you say
I
golf
said
or tennis?
tennis.
We both
Golf.
said
But
tennis.
golf was fun too.
Yeah.
You can
No.
enjoy your fucking golf, nerd.
No, Megan said golf right now. She said
No.
golf and tennis.
Did I? No, I
Didn't
think
you?
I just said tennis.
Just said
Oh my
tennis.
I said,
God.
oh no, I said Mario Kart and then Mario Tennis.
Okay, cars.
That's
I'm looking over her shoulder like I can read her handwriting.
Yeah, my handwriting's bullshit. Okay, so my dream list is
Wait.
what?
Harvest Moon 64 is not happening just because different companies own the game
Yeah.
and the name at this point.
Yeah.
Well, they can call it Story of Season 64 if they want. That's fine.
All right.
They can fix the title.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. As a
Okay.
realistic one, that may not
That's
be the case.
true.
But,
That's
yeah.
that's fine.
So
It was
my-
well liked, though. I completely slipped my. We own that.
I know. I saw it
I
on the
forgot
shelf
about
today,
it.
and I was like, "Ooh, Harvest Moon."
I'm sitting here making fun of you for forgetting.
That's
but
okay. My dream list is full of rare wares. We got Diddy Kong Racing, which I cannot tell you how much time I spent playing, but my sisters and I played the shit out of that game.
Right.
Banjo-Kazooie, which I've never actually played, but according to Craig, is very good, and I would probably enjoy it.
It's like Donkey Kong 64 if you took out like all the filler. It's
okay.
streamlined.
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
streamlined
streamlined
experience.
document.
Okay. I put down Conker's Bad Fur Day because, as we established, that's a good game.
Is that really what that game's called?
It is Conker's Bad Squirrel Day. Glover, which I only ever played at another friend's house, and we'd rented it from Blockbuster, but it was fun as hell. So
I love how you included an ideal game as some weird fever dream game that you played for a hot second.
right, I just have memories of it. I'm like, it's not going to be as much fun, maybe, but
I saw a Gex 64 commercial once. So let's put that on there.
listen, I don't have this wealth of knowledge, so I have to base it on something.
Okay.
Glover is like if they gave the Hamburger Helper mascot a game.
Yes!
I don't know what the hell was going on with that.
There was magic involved. I don't know. Mario Kart, Mario Party 3, Mario Tennis, because, of course. I put Quake because I played Quake as a child when I shouldn't have, and I have fond memories, so Quake it is. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt because it was a game I played with my siblings and my cousin, and we spent so much time playing that game.
Is that the board game one?
Yes. It's like 4 different boards, and one of them you are in like an Egyptian pyramid, and it's
Right.
it's
Places
probably-
babies go.
yeah, and it's probably not
As
as much
babies
fun.
do.
It's probably not as much fun like as an adult, but like I loved that game, and we had so much fun playing that game. So
I hate to break it to you and everyone listening to this podcast. Most of these games are probably not
I
as you
know.
remember.
Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers, because that was another game that I spent a lot of time playing, and I played it through several times. I love Scooby-Doo. I love Scooby-Doo games, even though most of the time they're shit, and so that's why it gets to be on my dream team.
My girlfriend loves Scooby Doo. She's like showed me
Scooby's
pictures of her
great.
bedroom. She used to have like Scooby Doo like posters and
Yeah.
bedspreads and everything.
Oh,
I
it's
have
weird.
a Scooby-Doo pillowcase.
My
Yeah.
wife loves Scooby-Doo too.
I have a Scooby-Doo stuffed Scooby guy who's like a pillow. Yep. Super
Oh my
into
god!
it.
All right, you two could get together and Scooby Doo out.
We can talk about how all our fan theories.
We should get Jody on the podcast.
Yeah, we should.
She is dying to be on the podcast.
Is
Well, she should
really?
come on the podcast.
Oh no, I don't want her on the podcast now.
She wants to only do the opening part, and once we she wants to talk about one game that she's playing or something, and then dip. She does
Well, I
not
don't
want
care
to
about
stay
her
around.
life.
for
I don't want to
everything.
hear her life story. That doesn't count.
Well, Craig will have to get like.
I'm just being an asshole because I'm sure she's listening to this.
Nah, she doesn't listen this far. It's fine. Whatever.
Let me finish my list.
Okay, sorry.
So that Seth can list his list. So my last bits are Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Harvest Moon, and Smash. So that was all very exciting and unexpected, and now it's Seth's turn.
Have you played Harvest Moon 64?
I think I played a little bit of it, but I shrugged.
It's weird. I mean, you said that, and it clicked for me. Like, it wasn't on my. I don't know where I would slide it in on my ideal list, but I love that game. Like the best man at my wedding, Andy. We've been friends for like over 20 years. And when that game came out, we each bought a copy. And, this is before the internet. Well, it's not before the internet, but before like people use the internet to basically, play a game for them.
Google.
And there was just a lot of like obtuse secrets in that game. And just kind of like having that tribal knowledge about that game. It was just a lot of fun. And you don't get a lot of that these days. I really enjoyed that.
How about you, Seth?
I don't know. I don't want to do. No. Okay, here's the realistic list of 15 games, which I don't feel like is enough, Craig.
I don't disagree. I don't think it'll be more than 15.
Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I think they're going to do both Zeldas. Wave Race, Smash Bros.
That's a good choice.
Mario Kart, Mario Party, whatever. Donkey Kong 64, just for Megan.
Yeah.
Yoshi's Story, Kirby 64, Paper Mario. And that's it for my first party stuff. And then I was looking at like the companies that they've worked with for third party stuff on the NES and SNES. So I got Bomberman 64 from Konami, Mega Man 64 from Capcom, and then Ogre Battle 64 and Mischief Makers from Square Enix to round out my 15.
What is Ogre Battles?
Tactics Ogre. You remember we got the Tactics
Ogre?
So
Okay.
It's of that ilk.
So that's my realistic list.
Ogre Battle would be pretty good because, that's like an expensive game now, isn't it?
Yeah. Super. It's I think it and Harvest Moon 64 are like two of the most expensive games on 64.
Well, I got one of those. Do you have Ogre Battle 64?
I don't have either of those two. Those are like my two games that I still want on my N64 before like I'm pretty much happy with my collection.
What does Harvest Moon 64 go for these days?
I have all my games boxed, so it's more expensive.
Well, right, that's what we do too. Right?
So like I think 80 to 100.
Oh, that's high, but I guess I was expecting more.
Yeah, I think Ogre Battle's more like 150-ish.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's up there.
So that's my realistic list. Mm-hmm. I think all those, and then for my my other 15, I knew what Craig wanted me to do a realistic list, but instead I just did like 15 games I wish could be on there, but have no fucking chance of being on the system. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? What?
I did 15 games that I wish could make it onto the system, but will not, instead of just a realistic 15 list. Like games that I think will, whatever. I'm just going to do this list, all right?
All right, do it.
Hit it.
Pay attention. Conquer.
Yeah.
Bad Squirrel Day, of course. Resident Evil 2. Perfect Dark. Jet Force Gemini. Harvest Moon 64 is on mine. Banjo-Kazooie. Beetle Adventure Racing. Shadow Man. Turok 2. Rogue Squadron. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr., Rocket Robot on Wheels, Rush 2049, and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
That was such a good game.
It was super good. I loved it.
I have it on Game Boy Color where it is significantly less good.
I would imagine. But yeah, no,
that's basically an ideal. So you interpreted the ideal list as like specifically games that would definitely not make it on.
No, I interpreted it how you interpreted it, but I decided not to do that.
Oh, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a good list.
I think it's a good list.
Yeah, I just decided to do games that had no... but then I had like a bunch of leftover games because they're still like really good games. Like, well, some of them you mentioned, there's like Pilot Wings and Pokemon Snap, and Excite Bike 64 is like one of my fucking favorite racers on that system.
Yeah, for a system that people say like has no games, contemporaneously it sucked waiting for the next good game on that system, if that was your only system. Mm-hmm. But like in retrospect, you can come up with like a few dozen playable games. Maybe a few dozen. Oh wow, there's literally dozens of us. But I don't know if you can come up with like 30 some odd good games to like represent a system. I think that's solid.
Yeah. No, on my list, I wrote down like I have like 42 different games written down here that I just are all over the place.
No, it's good.
Well, they could offer like in this mythical, Nintendo 64 Classic, there could be different versions. So one could be like the Mario version that's just all the fucking Mario games, and it's like, oh, do you love every Mario game from N64? Here's this one convenient package.
Oh, they'll charge you $100 for each of these dumb fucking
Right, well, that's what I'm
consoles.
saying. And so then you've got, like, the weird shit that only some people have heard of set, and then that'll have, like, whatever things that,
The Sin and Punishment version.
Right, the Sin and Punishment version.
They actually did that in Japan with the Famicom, didn't they? With the Famicom Classic.
They did have a second Famicom, yeah. They had
like
a gold Famicom version.
Shonen Jump version or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they did do that, yep.
And then, you know, the like, oh, were you 12 when this came out? Here's the one that has Rugrats and Scooby-Doo.
Were you an infant? Here's your infant console.
Did you learn how? Well, I mean, I think 6 or 7 when SNES came out. So I'd played an NES before. And I played SNES when it was newish or whatever. And so but N64 was the first console that I got as a gift that I actually knew what to do with and was excited about. Right, and I was like, oh man, and I could puzzle solve better, and it was like a whole thing. You know, so for me, there's a lot of kid nostalgia attached to it. That
I have
has kid games.
I have teenager nostalgia.
So if there had been a Barbie 64 game, that shit would have been on my list.
She has her family over, dude. She has them play Barbie on the Retron 5.
Because we used to play it together. And it's fun.
I'm not making fun of you. I think it's fun. I think it's great, but it's also funny too. It's both.
Right.
It's both.
I was 11 when this thing came out. I was playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy and stuff. That's...
My parents didn't let me play that.
they let you play Quake.
I played Quake on our family computer when I was 8 or 9.
On a Famicom? Is that what you...
No, it was a Windows
No,
Windows...
it was a joke.
Okay.
Famicom is family computer.
Oh, you're so funny. I obviously didn't get that.
She's married me for so many reasons.
I was trying to explain to you how I played Quake, but I didn't get it. Did you guys ever play this game called Bug? It was this shitty, you were this weird green bug.
It was on Saturn.
I remember seeing that thing at stores all the time.
Oh, okay. It came loaded on our PC, I guess.
That was on Saturn, right, Seth?
Yeah, it was on Saturn.
Yeah, I could have sworn I played on Saturn.
I love that game.
Yeah.
I played a lot of that game. That and Quake.
I have good news for you, Megan. There was a sequel called Bug 2.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
When's it coming out on Switch? I'd play that. I'd give them $5 whole.
We gotta wait for the Saturn. They gotta release 7 more Genesis classics. Then maybe one day we'll get the Saturn classic.
Yeah. Well, supposedly they're going to have some Saturn games on Switch as part of their whatever that M2 initiative is that they're doing with Sega games.
They're talking about Dreamcast stuff too, dude, and don't get my hopes up.
Yeah, no, Sega ages. I think they said that they have Saturn running on it right now. They got Saturn hardware and Dreamcast hardware too.
Yeah, I heard they got it right. Yeah, listen, don't threaten me with a good time. Put that fucking shit on there.
It's coming out.
Slap my ass and don't buy me dinner. Come on.
No, they're doing it.
They're going to slap that ass. And buy you dinner, I guess, as well.
I'm ready.
That's fine.
I'll put out.
Yes, you will. I'll sit next to you while that whole thing
You'll
happens.
coach me through it.
Yep, I was like,
Okay.
You go, honey, you're doing great.
All right, everybody shut up. I'm doing mailbag.
Oh, okay.
Here's the mail, it never fails.
No Blue's Clues, dude. I mean, what's that from?
Is that what that's
That's from Blue's Clues.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to love that show.
Not enough to remember the song.
Well, listen, I can barely remember stuff that happened last week. Seth.
Yeah. Yeah. Ilya on Twitter says, "What did you get during Black Friday?" Did you get anything on Black Friday? Not even just game stuff, just anything.
I got Undertale
Nice.
on Switch.
Was your jacket a Black Friday deal?
No, I bought myself a really nice winter coat from Land's End, but it was on sale as a pre-Black Friday, I guess, because it was 40% off. So
Black
that was
Friday is
exciting.
basically like Black Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a week now.
Yeah, it was a pretty good sale. So my coat was usually it's $200, and I got it for $120 with shipping. So, and that shit is so I was so warm. I had to unzip it outside, which is unheard of for me. So yeah, it was a good purchase. Got Undertale. What'd you get, honey?
I got Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just like I said I wanted, but I bought them digitally.
Right.
Tomb Raider was the same price digitally as it was in stores, so I'm like, that's fine. Assassin's Creed, it was advertised as $35 in stores physically. Mm-hmm. It was $40 digitally. And since I don't really give a shit about collecting Assassin's Creed games, I don't care if it's physical or not. Mm-hmm. It just seemed worth the $5 to like not go through a store and just have it delivered to my console. So I got that for $40. And then nice. I have a shit ton of Switch credit because PayPal had some deal where like you pay $40 or something and you get $50 worth of credit.
What?
Yeah, it was a little while ago. I did that a bunch of times. So
I might have been on that. I have like a bunch of built up Switch credit. Like I think I bought like $150 worth for like $80 or something. I was like,
yeah,
so I was just loaded up. Yeah.
So I loaded it up and I got I downloaded Celeste and Dead Cells, but I mean I don't feel bad because it was money already spent a while back ago, and I got them on sale. Right. But at the same time, I have no idea when I'll play them because I have all these other things to play.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to the moment when I can play them. But I mean that's it for me.
Yeah, I got Monster Hunter World and Just Dance 2019 as planned.
Excellent.
And then I also got Blaster Master Zero on the eShop because it was like $5. eShop has pretty good deals.
Yeah. The eShop it does have good deals.
And then we'll skip that one.
Oh.
No. I asked people to say what they were thankful for, and Olavi said, "I'm thankful for Mass Effect 2. The game was so good, it ended my collecting habit. I started to sell my big collection of over 400 games, and now only a handful of own only a handful of physical games. Now my hobby doesn't take so much room, and I've learned to appreciate my favorite games more."
Imagine like loving a game so much you're like, fuck it, I don't need all these other pieces of shit.
Right? That's like a really... I don't know. I can't even.
That's incredible.
I'm proud of you. Good job.
Yeah, I'm sure Megan's is proud of anybody who could get rid of a bunch of games.
Well, just like recognizing that perhaps you found something that brought you that joy, and now you don't need to keep collecting or whatever.
Now you're sounding like my girlfriend.
Hey man, Craig's going to continue to collect, and I'm going to continue to encourage him to do something that makes him happy, but as soon as it doesn't, I'll help him get rid of all the shit.
Yeah, I mean, we got rid of a shit ton of games, but I still probably own about 1,000. I still have a lot, so no shortage of games here. But like that's just where I'm at. Like I don't need as many games as I had, and so I guess it's a similar epiphany, but not quite the same because I still own a lot of games.
Yeah, I've slowed down on buying, but I haven't done any major purging yet.
Oh, especially like modern games, I don't buy nearly as much as I just don't. I don't have the interest level to like keep up with the Joneses, and I can and for the stuff that like I do want to play, but it's not like super important, like Tomb Raider or Assassin's Creed. I can wait for that sale. It's fine.
Right.
Is part of the collecting appeal, like, part of it's like the hunting and the finding? Because you can just go to the store and get, like, Tomb Raider, but you can't just go to Target and be like, your finest copy of Harvest Moon 64, please. Like, so...
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Even on eBay, there's a hunting aspect to it, too, especially if you want it in a particular condition, with particular things it came with, at a particular price point. Yeah. Yep.
And I think a lot of it for me too is like idealizing a childhood that I wish I had instead of the one that I actually had. So like I'm taking like the moments I enjoyed from my childhood and just like sort of building upon that or something.
Yeah, I don't really want to unpack this, but yeah.
I'm sure Craig knows exactly what I'm talking about, though.
Right. One of the things I do that sort of goes along with that is that there's a YouTube channel called 80s Commercial Vault, and it just compiles commercials from the 80s and 90s into like 20-minute videos. And be like, this aired on such and such station on October 19th of 1993, and it's just a bunch of fucking toy commercials and cereal commercials, and I'm like, this is great. Like this is like, this is my childhood through shitty jingles and colorful capitalism.
That's awesome.
I love it.
They're pretty good to watch.
I'm gonna watch them. And last question comes from Leaf, and thoughts on Detective Pikachu. I'm assuming the movie.
Oh man, I am so excited.
It looks good,
right?
I can't wait.
Like, some of the fucking monsters look scary, like Charizard, but no, otherwise, like, I think it looks way better than it has any right to.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I was expecting in terms of what Pikachu was going to look like, but I didn't actually expect like a CGI like actually looks fuzzy, but not in a cartoony way.
There are people upset about that though. There
Really?
are people like mad.
Oh
about
yeah,
how
people are.
Pokemon looks.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it doesn't meet their expectations.
Oh,
They're like, why is Pikachu so furry? Why does he sound like Ryan?
Isn't
Why is
he
Pikachu
fluffy?
talking?
He's fluffy. I mean, what people were freaking about Mr. Mime, about Jigglypuff.
Yeah, they call him Jigglypuff Nightmare Fuel. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
I actually
get it.
when I saw that stuff, I actually got kind of mad, and I think that the reason why I got maybe not mad, but like severely annoyed. And the thing is like I think that see here in the U.S. and I imagine it's the case abroad because I can't imagine how else it would work internationally. Like copyright law is fucked in the U.S. It's something like the life of the creator plus like 96 years or some shit. Like nothing has entered the public domain in forever here. Mm-hmm. You can thank Disney for that. Fuck off, Disney. And so, I mean, the easiest way to unfuck that is to fix copyright law because the life of the creator plus a million years is that's not reasonable. But barring that, because that's not going to be fixed because there's money being made. You have to let companies interpret and reinterpret their own works. Otherwise, you are literally going to get the same shit over and over again because it won't enter public domain and other people won't be able to remix it. You know, if I say Snow White, you're probably thinking of the Disney version. You're probably thinking of the blue and red and yellow dress. You're probably thinking of Disney Snow White. But that's, someone else made Snow White. That's not the only version of Snow White. But you know that version because Disney took something public domain, and that's what they did with it. They made it something iconic. I mean, Pokemon wouldn't enter the public domain anyway in our life, but I think people need to be more accepting of... I mean, you don't have to like it, but I think people should be more accepting of remixing internally, I guess, because it's not going to happen externally in your lifetime.
Well, to bring it to Scooby-Doo, like... There was original Scooby-Doo, and then there was the pup named Scooby-Doo. That was like a redone for like the kids in the 90s. And now there's like Scooby-Doo Unlimited, not Unlimited, Scooby-Doo not Unmasked. I don't know what the fuck it is. Unleashed? No, that was Monsters Unleashed. That was the second live action movie.
That's right. There's a 13 Ghosts Scooby-Doo?
There's 13 Ghosts Scooby-Doo.
I like that.
There's all these new iterations, and there's like Scooby-Doo Apocalypse comic book, and
that's
it's
what
all,
I was thinking of.
You were thinking of the Apocalypse. So there's all these cool different versions of the Scooby Gang. For the most part, it's the same. The style's different, the humor's different because it changes with the times. But it's at its core the same. But you have to keep changing it because kids these days aren't going to watch a cartoon for the most part, where it's the same background being recycled and these jokes that don't make sense to kids these days because some of them are references to shit that happened 50 years ago or whatever. And so it looks cheap and lame, and kids these days expect more from their cartoons. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about this Pikachu being all cool, sounding like Ryan Reynolds, having a sense of humor.
I get why people wouldn't like it. I mean, that's fine, but it's just the people that are resistant to like any kind of reinterpretation or reimagination of their, something they enjoy and it defies their expectations. And that just annoys me because it will literally be the same shit for life of the creator plus 96 years. Like, let them change it up a little bit.
What do you think, Seth?
I think I only prefer my Scooby-Doo from the 1969 when they're
okay.
like, let's go watch The Ungrateful Dead. Grateful Dead.
The Ungrateful Dead.
Well, it's
that's our new band.
But that's how they would have to change it up for the cartoon.
Exactly.
To not
No. I'm lying though. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which I think was the version that was on before the current one, was like super good, and I was super into that cartoon.
Didn't Simple Plan do like the theme song?
No. What's the dude who does the song "Girlfriend"? Matthew Sweet. Matthew Sweet did the theme song, I think.
I was just thinking of Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, you. I don't like a girlfriend.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Not that Girlfriend.
I was gonna
song.
say, how does that work for? I guess that the girlfriend song wasn't the Scooby Doo theme song, so
No, but
it's fine.
actually, I think there's a album that came out in the '90s called like Saturday Morning Cartoon Theme Songs, and it was like a bunch of like bands from the '90s doing cartoon theme song covers. And I think Matthew Sweet did the Scooby Doo cover
That
on
sounds so good.
that one. So then I think they also had him just do like the theme song for the new song, but it's not anything like any of the
It's
other
different.
Scooby Doo songs. Yeah, it's very different.
I guess I'm gonna have to go fall down a YouTube rabbit hole.
I recommend anybody who likes old cartoons to listen to that Saturday Morning Cartoon album. It's fantastic.
I guess that counts me out.
It's they got like Butthole Surfers doing like Underdog and fuck, I can't remember who else is on there, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
find out.
Sublime doing Hong Kong Phooey.
So
Well,
we have to listen to Sublime.
they gotta
too
be
while we're
okay
at
at
it.
something.
Are you trying to sell me on this or not?
Oh my god, you listen to 311, Craig.
It's not the same.
That's not. Well, listen, I'm not trying to argue the merits of 311. Let's get that. out of our
I'm
heads,
just trying
number
to
one.
say Sublime's better than 311.
No,
Okay.
I would not say that. And I've seen Sublime. They opened for 311 one. They opened for 311.
Well, it's because that's like not the real Sublime anymore. That's like Sublime with Rome.
It's just it was Sublime with Rome. Yeah,
because the dude OD'd back in the day. So
Papa Roach opened for 311. Like
oh Jesus Christ.
Snoop Dogg
Oh,
opened for
no.
311. I don't.
I went to see Prophets of Rage, which is like a Rage Against the Machine and Cypress Hill and
Yeah.
Public Enemy, whatever. And fucking POD opened for them.
It's the weirdest. Like
POD's still around?
They're from San Diego, so maybe they just were like, "Hey, let's want to go do a show, guys." And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, all right.
I had a friend who was really into POD, and then I think they had a song on Aggressive Inline too.
Sounds right.
It sounds like the Hoobastank, just
Do you know-
Sublime.
Yes, Sublime was
The
on
whole,
Aggressive
the whole gang
Inline.
is there.
Anyways, that's it for Mailbag.
All right.
Thanks, mailbag and friends.
Do we have anything else we'd like to add? This episode's very long. Do we have
I
anything we want to
know,
add?
no.
It's a good episode too.
Let's
It's very
release
dense.
them from the yolk
it's like
of
it's a
our-
dense cake. Very moist.
It's a good bake.
It's a good bake. It's a good chew.
Send me that recipe, Megan.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, thank you.
No
right.
problem.
Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find this podcast on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio, where you can subscribe, you can comment, you can download, you can stream, whatever is convenient for you. And of course, you can also find us on your favorite podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. We also ask that you review us in one of those. It'd be really helpful, particularly Apple Podcasts. Takes just a couple minutes of your time, and we would greatly appreciate that. You can also find Ludowave Radio on Twitter and Facebook, at Ludowave Radio on both. Our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I am at TVMust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Seth Gastelum. And Megan.
I'm on Instagram at Desperately Seeking Salsa.
And we're out.
Bye.